championship.
Hey, all you football fans, welcome to the Rock, home of three-time FCS champions, the Appalachian State Mountaineers. They're getting ready for the Redbirds of Illinois State. Stay right here on ESPN3. Second round playoff action continues.
ASU, 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 ASU.
The Division I football championship visits Boone, North Carolina, as the Illinois State Redbirds visit the Appalachian State Mountaineers. The winner of this game is going to face the winner of Wagner Eastern Washington out in Cheney, Washington. That game takes place later tonight on ESPN3. Welcome to the press box level. Ryan Rose along with FCS All-American Rini Angolia. And Rini, today we've got a big matchup. Two teams that don't need a lot of motivation, I think.
Well, absolutely. You know, Appalachian State's looking for a little redemption. They lost in the second round right here last year to Maine. I think they'll be ready to go today. And Illinois State, although they dropped their last game of the season, they are 7-0 on the road dating back to last year. That bodes well for them.
And if these two teams are going to have success, two big wide receivers we're going to key on today.
Well, for Illinois State, senior wide receiver Tyrone Walker's having a great year. He's got 71 receptions, close to 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. A very speedy receiver, runs great routes. He'll be Matt Brown's #1 target today. And on the other sideline for Appalachian State, Sean Price, their 6'5", 210-pound freshman, SoCon freshman of the year, first team. He's a mismatch problem for DBs with his height and speed. He'll be targeted a lot today.
For those guys to catch the ball, we need guys to throw them the ball. Matt Brown, the offensive player in the year in the Missouri Valley, and Jamal Jackson, a first-team All-SoCon performer. Big game today, round 2, Illinois State and App State.
Illinois State, Appalachian State, in the largest stadium in FCS up here in Boone, North Carolina. Gorgeous campus of Appalachian State there. As the Redbirds come calling, making their first FCS appearance in the last 4 years. Head coach Brock Spack, 8-3 this year. Fourth season, 27-17 in his 4 years at Illinois State. He's also the defensive coordinator, and here's our coin toss today. As Coach Moore makes his way out on the field. 18th FCS playoff appearance in his 24 seasons. 8-3 this year. They've made the FCS playoffs 8 straight years and 20 total. As the hometown Mountaineers will receive the football. That will put it in the hands of Jamal Jackson as we, take a look at the brackets. On the other side of this section of the brackets, North Dakota State and South Dakota State have to go at it today. New Hampshire is down in Spartanburg taking on Wofford. It's all a collision course to the next round. You see Central Arkansas and Georgia Southern going at it down in Statesboro. And then up in Norfolk, Virginia, Old Dominion taking on Coastal Carolina. A lot of good teams left. Pretty much, you're not going to squeak by in round 2 because you've got a big battle to face uphill, Rini, if you're going to win today.
Well, absolutely. The FCS was absolutely loaded this year with the talented teams. And listen, this is the playoff that all the fans are thirsty for. They want them to do it like this in the FBS. We're going to get a little taste of it in a couple years with a 4-teamer, but there's nothing like a 20-team playoff in college football.
This is the way to do it, and next year they're going to expand it to 24 teams. So fewer teams will get a bye, if you will, into round 2. So it'll ramp it up next year with new football programs being added around the country. Who knows if these two teams will even be FCS with all the craziness going on. But while we've sift through all that mess. We get to enjoy an actual tournament on the field. They settle it on the field at this level. That's the great thing about it. It is a picturesque day. Don't be fooled by the smoke they just fired across the field. 56 degrees. Not much wind, sunny up here in the mountains of North Carolina. Couldn't ask for a better day on December 1st.
This is a beautiful day to play football in September, let alone December 1st. Absolutely gorgeous today.
Illinois State will kick it off, and 4 yards deep in the end zone. They will bring it out, but only to about the 12-yard line. As Tony Washington brought it out, and we'll take a look at Jamal Jackson. You see his numbers there. He needs just 23 completions and 387 yards to reach school records in those two categories. 19 TDs, 7 interceptions. They're going to spread it out, but still run some option. They'll have Stephen Miller in the backfield with him. And a quick pass out to Price. We talked about him a few minutes ago. They want to get the ball in his hands. As we take a look at the offense for the Mountaineers, Stephen Miller, 1,300 yards rushing this season. He also made the Dean's List, and he's a second-team All-SoCon performer. Graham Fisher, the center, actually caught a deflected ball this year. He's the center of the offensive line. Let's take a look at the Illinois State defense. Up front, Colton Underwood, a first-team performer. We're going to talk a lot about that guy. In the middle, Mike Zimmer, 109 tackles this year. And in the secondary, Ben Erickson leads the FCS in interceptions with 7. Third down for the Mountaineers. They rush to the line, but then they get the signals from the sidelines. Jackson about 7 yards deep for the snap. Miller in motion. Flags.
5-yard penalty remains. Third down.
The battle within the battle today is this great defensive front that you just talked about with Illinois State, with Palmer, Sparks, Harrison, Underwood. That's the battle I want to watch. How can the Appalachian State offensive line contain them today?
Well, App doesn't need to help him out with a penalty on the false start. Our officiating crew is from the Ohio Valley Conference. That's how they do it in the postseason. Bringing a crew that doesn't know either squad. Appalachian already got 5 yards on the first 2 plays, but had to push it back on the false start. Get it out to Price. He'll be short. So a good stop by that Illinois State defense. You mentioned the loss 2 weeks ago to North Dakota State. We asked Coach Spack if they needed to motivate these guys. He said absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, this is Illinois State had a very good year. They don't need motivation. They know this is a tough place to come play. And as we talked about, they're very good on the road.
Donovan Harden back to receive. There was some contact back behind the line of scrimmage, but no flags, and his knee must have been down when he touched the football. Did Harden, so no return, and Illinois State will get the ball first on the 31-yard line. So we are introduced to Matt Brown. 225 completions. #1 in the Missouri Valley Football Conference with those 2,676 yards. And a lot of targets, but what's going to impress everybody is how quickly he gets the ball.
I was going to say, he's a big kid, strong arm, and he throws the ball extremely quick. He gets it out of there. Hard guy to sack because he throws it so quick.
Only been sacked 10 times this year. But they'll go on the ground on the first play. And they give it to Darylyn Dunn, who's a great story. Dunn this year, 850 yards, 12 touchdowns. He's had 4 100-yard games. On the offensive line, well, these guys have made 11 starts. Pete Carey, a first-teamer, is the quiet leader, the center out of Cincinnati, has started all 11 games. This entire front line has started all 11 games this year. You rarely ever see that anymore. Send the fullback Newkirk in motion and give Dunn a little space. Stacked up front, maybe a gain of 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and short for the App State defense. Ronald Blair has started 20 consecutive games at that defensive end spot. Jeremy Kimbrough, number 33, the middle linebacker. We'll talk about him a lot today. He's a Buchanan Award List player, and so is Demetrius McCrary, the cornerback, number 10, a first-team All-SoCon performer in the secondary. There's Kimbrough. He's going to be where the ball is. You need to find him. Just find the football. Two receivers to each side. Brown stepped up to say something. I think it caused somebody to move.
5-yard penalty remains. Third down.
Yeah, definitely a little flinch there. Officials caught it, and now it's going to put Illinois State in 3rd and long.
So each team on a 3rd down with a motion penalty. Illinois State averaging 29 points a game. Appalachian State averaging 32.5 points a game. So we expect a lot of points on the scoreboard today, but so far the defenses have come to play. That 3rd and short got a lot longer. Sling it out to the right side. Dunn can't catch it out of the backfield. And Illinois State will have to punt it away. What did you see on these first two?
Well, you know, I think both these teams are feeling each other out. You know, similar possessions in their first one. It's going to take them about halfway through this quarter, but these schools don't know each other. They don't have a big history against each other, so they're going to have to feel each other out, no doubt.
Tony Washington, who returned the opening kick, will stand back at his 30. Patrick Wright, the punter, gets it all the way down to the 15, where Washington makes one man miss. He gets about 7-8 yards on the return. And he'll be up to the 28-yard line. Neither team scoring on its first possession. Strap in, folks. A lot of points coming up in this one. No score. Each team's had one possession early in the ball game, and we can see from the scripts, and both coaches told us this week, Greeny, that they don't know what to expect from their opponent.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt Appalachian State's offensive coordinator, Scott Satterfield, he's looking down. He's seeing what the Illinois State defense is doing. And likewise, on the other side, Luke Hewer, the offensive coordinator for Illinois State, he wants to see what that App State defense is doing. So right now, it's a little chess match.
Jackson with the football, gives it to Miller. He went right, nothing there. He's going left, nothing there. And he's going to take a big loss on first down. That is not the way to get a drive started.
Well, and you don't want to do this against a very good Illinois State defense. You see, it's just a sweep to the right, and Miller just goes backwards. And in a defense like Illinois State that's aggressive as they are, their defensive front is so good. They get off the ball with such good penetration. Boy, they will make big TFLs tackle for a loss.
And they made great contain. Shelby Harris ended up with the stop. Second and forever. Empty backfield for Jackson. Slips out of trouble, flags down, and he'll be shoved out just shy of the 20-yard line. Flags down in the middle of the field in the area of holding. And let's see if this costs the Mountaineers more yardage.
Yeah, I think they might have caught 63. Shaq counts the left guard with a little hold there.
Appalachian State very young up front. 4 sophomores and a freshman.
And Illinois State knows that, and they're going to go after him with that defensive front.
Blow to the face. Number 92 defense.
Okay.
15-yard penalty. Automatic.
And we were
First down.
Blow to the face. All right. Well, App State hurts itself with the penalty on the first drive, and now Illinois State gives them the game's first down.
And that's one thing officials are going to emphasize this year. Those hits to the head, we've seen it all day long. Umpires are going to watch for that.
Should say the game's first down. Put the ball down at the 33-yard line. By the way, Sean Price needs 2 catches to set a new FCS record for a freshman. And the officials want to huddle up, and that'll give us a chance. We're getting ready to send it down to the 3rd member of our crew, Angela Mallon. We'll check in with her in just a second. She was in that sea of students that you saw at the Open. A lot of folks have piled in here. Miller. He finally breaks contain to the outside. He's only going to get 2 yards, stood up at the 36. And let's introduce Angela Mallon. Angela.
Thanks, Ryan. When we talked to Coach Moore yesterday, and I said, Coach, what was your theme for this week? And he said, Angela, it's simple. We're going to take it back to preseason when I made each player sign a plaque that had trust and respect. Every player signed it. He reminded them of that after the loss to Wofford. He said, we're in a 3-game season. Go out and win each game. Now for this weekend, Angela, it's a 4-game season, 1 game left. Let's go get it. Guys, tangible, simple, get it done.
And there you see the signature, Angela, of Rod Chisholm, the backup running back who was slated to be the starter this year. He is on the sidelines. He's pretty much Stephen Miller's biggest fan at this point. He's been a real good team guy. He's the only one that wrote a message with his signature, and he said, I am committed. And Coach Moore told us, Rini, that he thought that was really good leadership on his part, that the guys kind of rallied around that.
Yeah, absolutely.
3rd down. Price was open ahead of the sticks, and Jackson overthrew him. I don't know what happened on that one. They couldn't get connected. That would have been a 1st down.
Yeah, I think Sean Price ran the wrong route there, Ryan. Jamal Jackson was looking. He wanted to run about 12-yard, kind of like a dig route towards the out the boundary, the sideline. Instead, Price broke it off to the inside, and they weren't in cahoots there.
So progress as the Mountaineers get a 1st down on this drive via penalty. And now another punt and a fair catch. It'll be down at the 16-yard line. So Illinois State will get another crack at it. Still in the feeling out process early in this ball game. Jamal Jackson talking things over with the offensive folks. Here's our half of the bracket. Stony Brook and Montana State tonight. Sam Houston State in Texas hosting Cal Poly. And then we told you about our game facing the winner of Wagner, Eastern Washington. Play fake for Brown. He's going to sling it, but excellent defensive coverage. The Jamil Lott over there making a stop. Here's how the Missouri Valley Football Conference finished up this year. The top 3 teams all with berths. But unfortunately for the MoVal, North Dakota State and South Dakota State have to play each other this week, so one team gets eliminated.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles for the brackets on that one. But the Missouri Valley Football Conference, a very tough and a very good conference this season, no doubt.
Well, they've got the defending champion, North Dakota State, and they look pretty good again as the top seed. This is Cameron Hunt wiggling through the line, and he'll pick up about 3 yards, so it'll be 3rd and long with Jeremy Kimbrough making the hit.
And you know, Ryan, as much as both these teams like to throw the ball, I really think this game's going to come down to which team can control the line of scrimmage, whether it's offensively or defensively, but what team can establish the run. I think they both want to do that. They want to get their running games going. I think the team that does that the best is going to come out here with a W today.
Well, they did. Both staffs tell us they don't want to be one-dimensional. We keep touting the passing game, but you have to run the football. I mean, I got a running back up here in the booth.
That's right.
He wants them to run the football. Get it out quickly. This is near the sticks, and it looks like it will be a first down for Tyrone Walker. Jamil Lott made the stop. And that should give Walker over 1,000 yards for the season.
And watch the arm strength of Brown. Quick, boom. You see that release? Lightning quick, fastball there. Nice throw. Looks like we'll have a measurement, Ryan.
Just watching this guy, how quickly he gets the ball out there. From the time he decides he's going to throw it until the ball's on you as a receiver, you better be ready.
You know who would love that delivery? Tim Tebow. I tell you what. That's Tim Tebow opposite. That's what that is.
Got it by the length of a football.
Yeah, I think it was a good spot. You know, that's a smart play by the receiver. You break that route off right at the first down marker. Brown with his quick delivery gets it to you. Although the D-back came up, made a nice sure tackle, still got the first down.
Walker at 1,002 yards, even 7 on that last one. Brown changing the play at the line. Plenty of time. Just overthrowing his tight end, James O'Shaughnessy, number 80.
Yeah, and it almost looks like O'Shaughnessy, stopped running on the route like he didn't think Matt Brown could get it there. He just ran a wheel route down the sideline. He actually had the linebacker beat, and he's kind of backpedaling. He wants to keep running through that. Good break there for Appalachian State.
Patrick Blaylock, you saw him, number 34 there, was on the coverage. He got it when he turned his hips, he lost all his momentum. Each team with 1 first down. Coming on their second drive of the day. Here's Dunn. Pulled down behind the line. A nice job by number 9, Troy Sanders, the strong safety coming up.
And that's exactly what you want out of your strong safety. Sniff that ball up, come in there, and make those hits behind the line of scrimmage. Dunn gets it, and you see how quick number 9, Sanders, gets there to make the hit and hold on for that tackle.
There you see his numbers this season, 3 picks. 72 tackles is a lot for a safety. That means guys are getting into the 3rd level.
Yeah, or he's up in there sticking his nose in there like we just saw. Just a very good strong safety as Sanders.
If he's a blitzer, yeah, that is a good stack of tackles for him. Brown gives the offensive line a last bit of information and fires it complete. Tyrone Walker still loose near past midfield to the Mountaineer 45-yard line, and a big first down for the senior.
We talked about in the open how good Tyrone Walker is. He runs really good routes, and I tell you what, he's Matt Brown's number 1 target. Makes a nice catch, and now the yak yards after the catch, does a great job getting away from the tackler and getting downfield. Nice big play there for the Illinois State offense.
And that's what Coach Spack says about Walker. The thing he gives us best is the yak. yards after catch. Now into ASU territory, Illinois State, first down. Little play action, going up the sideline, and he overthrows O'Shaughnessy.
But, you know, offensive coordinator Luke Heward, he obviously sees something he likes with O'Shaughnessy, the tight end, because that's 2 times they've run wheel routes to him, one on the near sideline, now this one on the far sideline. There's something there they like.
These guys. Second down, 10. Best field position of the day for either squad. We'll move 2 guys in motion and triple stack them. And now Walker comes back the other way. A lot of pre-snap motion for the Redbirds. They're checking the defense. Walk on a little screen. Slips out of the first tackle and will pick up about 4. Let's take a look about how these guys got to where they are right now. Illinois State, a little bio on the school, founded in 1857. They have won 3 NCAA tournament games. This is their 4th appearance. They got all the way to the semifinals in '99 when they lost to Adrian Peterson and Georgia Southern. That was the deepest they've gotten in the tournament. These players on this team have not been to the playoffs. It's Cameron Hunt out of the backfield in motion. A quick pass to Walker. He makes 2 guys miss, and now he's by himself up the sideline, and the Redbirds are going to score first. Walker.
And he's a playmaker, Ryan. And we'll probably say it 10 more times that you're going to see it. It's just an inside slant route. Brown delivers the ball quick, and then he's going to make the free safety, Patrick Blaylock, miss him, and it's just a foot race. He's got the speed. He wasn't going to get caught there. Just a fantastic play by Tyrone Walker, and a great job of Matt Brown. We talked about his delivery, getting him the ball, letting him do stuff after the catch.
Nick Ossaker will kick the extra point. It's through, and Illinois State with a 7-0 lead. That is the 60th play this season for Illinois State of 20 or more yards. It was a big one, and the first points are on the board in Boone. Nine plays, 83 yards, 3 minutes, 48 seconds, and most of it was Brown to Tyrone Walker, including the 41-yard score. Again, the 60th play for Illinois State this season of 20 or more yards.
And nothing fancy either, Ryan. They were slant patterns to Walker. He's just making yards after the catch. As simple as that.
Washington at the goal line. He's on the loose near midfield, and that'll be Appalachian State's best field position of the game. And he got up the sideline in a flash.
Yeah, I like that. It was a return right that App State had set up. Tony Washington does a nice job, and I like he doesn't mess around. He hits that seam, he hits it hard, he doesn't dance around. Exactly what App State needed. They got good field position here. They needed a little spark. I think Washington just did that for him.
7th in the country with a 28.4 yard average, and he did have a 99-yard return against Wofford earlier this season. First down near midfield. See what Jackson does with a relatively short field here. A little trouble, dump it out to Miller, see what he can do. And looks like maybe about a yard, and we'll go back down to Angela Mallon. Angela.
You know, Rini, you were saying that it wasn't anything fancy that Illinois State did to earn that touchdown, and that's what the defensive coaches for Appalachian State were saying. It's communication. You can't look at the other guy and expect him to make the play. You have to be on board and commit.
4 catches, 83 yards for him in the game so far, Rini, and you said not complicated.
Well, you know, these guys, both these teams are coached up very well. You just have to do your assignment and do it well. I mean, when it comes down to it, football's a simple game.
A little option. Jackson keeps it, and he will eat it back at the line of scrimmage again. So 2 runs, nothing doing here as Colton Underwood, Ricky Simpson up in the hole, making the stop. I don't know that you're going to have much success option-wise against this front four.
It may be the best defensive front in the country in the FCS. I'm looking at these guys on tape and looking at their numbers, very impressed with the defensive front at Illinois State.
Logan Halleck takes the snap, and it hits the turf. Halleck came in the Western Carolina game and surged a comeback. He completed his first 20 passes and helped App State beat Western Carolina, but if you don't get the snap, there's not much you can do about it.
Well, you know, in the defensive front for Illinois State, they get such penetration, and the good thing is when your defensive front is that good, you don't have to send a lot of blitzes. You can put max people into coverage, and that snap was a little low, and Halleck couldn't come up with it, and they're punting.
Donovan Harden averaging 7.5 yards a punt this year. Lets it bounce at the 6, and will it stay in? Did he not touch the goal line? Let's see. As long as his feet didn't touch the goal line, that's going to be down around the 4, and it looks like that's where they're going to spot it. Excellent special teams coverage on the punt team.
Yeah, and exactly what you want to do. When that receiver calls fair catch and lets it go, you get to the goal line without stepping on. You keep the ball in. Just a phenomenal job there by number 42, Michael Frazier, to keep that thing inbounds, not to cross the goal line, and very good special teams play by them.
That's fantastic. So that'll pin the Redbirds way back inside their own 5. Dunn met at the line. Not much there as Devontae Harris, number 92, who's made 8 starts as a freshman on the defensive front, made the stop.
And you know, and App State has a strong defensive front as well, as we look at 92 Devontae Harris. And as I said earlier, you know, who can control this line of scrimmage is going to have a big edge in today's game.
Dunn pokes his head in there again and moves it out to the 10-yard line. So if nothing else, they've got room to punt. But they will have a 3rd down and about 3.5 coming up. Harris again on the stop.
And the thing I like about Darrell Dunn is he's a tough physical runner. He's not flashy, but you see they like running Dunn between the tackles. He's 6'1", 225, but he keeps those legs pumping. He fights for every yard, as we saw in that last run. Just a good, tough, physical runner.
He missed 2 games with a broken hand. Finally, he played with a cast for a while. Finally got it off for the North Dakota State game. So 2 weeks rest, good for that hand. These teams both got a bye in the first round. End around, Hardin's got it, and he's not going to make it. He dives ahead, but he'll get to the 12. He'll be a couple of yards short.
And what Hardin needs to understand on that speed sweep is he needs to keep running. He needs to understand the down and distance. You're going to see it. He's going to catch a block. Right here, he's got to go. He's got to keep going and get to that first down. Because he hesitated and he danced around, they were able to come up, App State, and make that tackle, keep him short. And now Illinois State's going to have to punt back deep. App State's going to get good field position here.
Nice stop by Demetrius McCray, the cornerback, also a Buchanan Award finalist. And after that play, the total yardage in the game is 100 for the Redbirds and -1 for App State. But should be a short field. Washington across midfield, and he'll go out of bounds at the Illinois State 45-yard line. And so for that reason, they're in good shape. Hey, Kansas State's fantastic regular season comes to a close with a must-win finale in Manhattan as Colin Klein and the Wildcats look to secure a Big 12 title and automatic BCS bid against Case McCoy and the Longhorns. It's Saturday Night Football presented by Windows 8. Number 18 Texas versus number 6 Kansas State tonight at 8 on ABC.
And I think Colin Klein has something to say about that Heisman. I don't think it's Johnny Manziel's quite yet.
Yeah, don't go voting yet. You get another week. Another week. Busting through the line, a big run here on first down. A nice run. Miller.
And I like the burst that Miller has. You see his vision there. That run started to the right, bent it back to the left. Good footwork, good vision. And he's got a really good burst through the hole.
And the first down, not by penalty for App State today, and a good first down run. Jackson takes a look down the seam. He's going to overthrow his intended receiver, and it's going to be picked off in the end zone by Ezra Thompson, number 22, his second interception of the season, voted all newcomer in the Moval.
Well, Thompson did a great job as a safety. He came over the top as Jackson tried to get it into Sean Price, and he just played center field, went up and made that catch, but they baited Jamal Jackson in that throw. There was really double coverage on Sean Price. Really nice job by Thompson coming over the top for that interception, Ryan.
Just his 8th interception of the season, but that was kind of a gimme there. That wasn't too tough. And Illinois State, with a long drive and now a takeaway, has all the momentum in a very eerily quiet Kidd Brewer Stadium as the final ticks of the first quarter are pending. This is outside, not done, but Cameron Hunt. And he'll be taken down behind the line of scrimmage by Jeremy Kimbrough, who got there quickly and with a bad disposition.
Well, he's an absolute beast. I mean, he is the prototypical middle linebacker. 5'11", 240, and he can run like unbelievable. It was like a bullet there as he shot through to make that tackle in the backfield. A great middle linebacker is Jeremy Kimbrough.
And that'll take us to the end of the first period. One takeaway in the period. It was a big interception to keep App State off the scoreboard. 7-0 Redbirds going to the second. 7-0 Illinois State, and after a takeaway at the end of the first quarter, the Redbirds football, second down and long. Quick pass juggled, but caught by Dunn. He'll be taken down at the 15-yard line, and this is what they're playing for as we head towards Frisco, Texas in the national championship game. 7-0 here. Wagner taking on Eastern Washington. That's who the winner of this game will face. That's later tonight. Stony Brook and Montana State out in Bozeman, and then Sam Houston State and Cal Poly going at it later this afternoon. That's our half of the bracket. 16 teams left. All roads to Frisco, Texas, and the national championship game. Third down. Dunn gets it across the 20 to the 23, but well shy of a first down, and Illinois State will have to punt again.
Yeah, and I just think Illinois State didn't want to press the issue there. It was third and long. Tried to pop Dunn through with a run play, but if not, they're going to punt it away, and they're happy with how their defense is playing thus far. So just don't want to make any mistakes there. Get a good punt out of there, give it back to App State here.
The interception from Jackson, in his last 139 passes. You have to go back to the Wofford game the last time he threw a pick. So the App State sideline not used to the turnover, particularly this early in the game. They're going to keep it away from Washington. It'll land at the 29 and stop there. Nice idea by Illinois State, not giving Washington a chance to do anything with it. ESPN College Football is available anytime, anywhere on your computer or mobile device via WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. It's the greatest thing ever invented.
Yeah, I got them on all my my phone and my iPod, iPad.
Here's the other half of the bracket we talked about, and we've got some scores. Georgia Southern all over Central Arkansas, 14-3, and Old Dominion a touchdown lead over the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina. You see Wofford an early lead over New Hampshire.
Yeah, that upper half of that bracket, that's a tough bracket.
A lot of option up there. First down 10 for Appalachian State, and Miller pushes it across the 30-yard line, give him 4 yards. Austin Davis, big side linebacker and senior, came up to make the stop.
Yeah, and I think we're going to start seeing a big dose of Stephen Miller. I think Scott Satterfield, the offense coordinator, really wants to establish this run.
Out of the backfield, and a nice quick tackle. Wow, good job over there by Evan Frierson, the senior linebacker. 68 tackles, 8.5 for loss, and he'll get another for loss.
Yeah, the other thing that impresses me about the Illinois State defense is how fast they are sideline to sideline. As an entire unit, boy, they cover a lot of ground, and they're all very good tacklers.
Led by that man right there, the head coach, Brock Spack, who's also the defensive coordinator. So you know he's going to keep his head in the defensive side to sort of check on the offense. He said he pokes his head in the offensive meetings sometimes. Jackson quick out. And back to the original line of scrimmage, Sean Price. He's got the third catch today, which ties him for the freshman record in the FCS, but it didn't really amount to much, and the crowd not happy with the offense.
Yeah,
right now.
Illinois State will take this. It's an underneath throw to Price. As long as you can come up and make sure tackles, don't let him get yards after the catch. When it's a long down and distance like that was there, they will. Illinois State defense will take that all day long. Let App State throw it underneath, come up and make a sure tackle.
Matt Goldsmith made the stop, but there were 3 guys there to help wrangle Price. You know they're going to have their eye on him tonight. Hardin awaits the punt at the 25, and it's a boomer all the way back to the 9-yard line. A chance to really change field position here if they can wrangle him, and they do run him out of bounds inside the 20. Excellent job by the punting unit for Appalachian State, as there's all sorts of sporting equipment on the field, helmets all over the place. Sam Martin, an outstanding punt. 7-0 Illinois State. Just a few seconds inside of the second quarter. Lots more football to come here from the mountains of North Carolina. Illinois State has held Appalachian State to 10 yards of offense through the first quarter and change, and they lead 7-0. First down and 10 for the Redbirds. Quick pass, it is almost intercepted, nearly picked off by Troy Sanders. It would have been his 4th pick, and he would have either given App State great field position or just taken care of it himself.
Well, you always hear announcers saying jumping the route. That's what Troy Sanders here. He jumped that slant route. I mean, they've been running it and running and running, and boy, that time they almost went to the well too many times there as Sanders jumped underneath that and almost picked it off.
Senior, you see, out of Chester, South Carolina. Right on Highway 9. We'll send Dunn out of the backfield in flags.
70 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains. Second down.
You get the right tackle, Jermaine Barton, for the false start.
And you know, Ryan, they were so successful with that slant pass to Tyrone Walker, and then there you see Troy Sanders jump it. Watch as this game progresses for a slant and go out of Tyrone Walker. Fake that slant and then take it off down the seam. Might be a big play later in the game. Something to watch for Illinois State.
They were 9th in the conference in penalties, so not anything unusual for them to have a bunch. Brown fires, caught, first down. Harden with the catch. As Blaylock made the hit from his free safety spot, but that'll move the chains for the Redbirds.
Yeah, and Harden had 37 catches this year for 522 yards. He knows what to do with it as well. Nice job. Makes a nice catch in traffic and gets it upfield for the 3rd and short.
Had himself a 100-yard game this year, 139 against South Dakota State. Let's stack those wideouts up, bring Walker back across. Checking what the defense wants to do. Brown will stick his helmet in there and try to get the first down. He's going to be close. I think he's got it.
Yeah, I think he does too, and I like the call. Empty backfield, and Brown's a big kid, 6'4", 235, a little quarterback. It's not even really a draw. It's a quarterback lead with a big, powerful offensive line. They needed 2 yards, and they picked it up. That's a nice play call there. I like that call there from Luke Heward, the offensive coordinator.
Mo Val's Offensive Player of the Year. He was the Freshman of the Year back in '09. A classic gunslinger. We've seen that today. That's Hunt in the backfield. And another penalty as they do the quick pass out to Neblett.
5-yard penalty. Remains. First down.
And another false start penalty.
And sometimes those tackles on those quick screens, those bubble screens, those wide receiver screens, they need to get out and block. And sometimes they just try to get out a split second too soon, and more times than not, they get caught.
Well, they got the right tackle the first time. This time it was the left tackle, Josh Haladnoy. He moved early, so after the first down, push him back 5, 15 to gain.
Yeah, and when your tackles are 335 and 310 respectively, you usually see when they flinch.
It's kind of easy to spot that movement. Hunt just tripped on the 20-yard line and fell forward to the 24. Got his own feet tangled up, and Kimbrough got the tackle.
Yeah, well, the 12th defender, the turf, right there. That field turf, and the field monster got him there. But Kimbrough would have been there to clean it up, no doubt about it.
So the yardage remains the same at second down. Dunn is back in at the tailback spot. And another quick pass, juggled and dropped by Walker. Let's see how they got to this point. Illinois State 8-3, 5-3 in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. You see that third place finish, ranked 11th. But all 5 road games this year and the last 2 road games of last year, they've won. So going on the road doesn't affect this team at all. Ben Erickson who is a former wide receiver, leads the nation with 7 interceptions.
Yeah, and that road record is just so very impressive, and that's why they're playing well here today. They're not an intimidated bunch to go on the road.
Lots of noise on 3rd down, and flags and whistles and stoppage of play.
False start, 70 offense. 5-yard penalty remains. 3rd down.
Jermaine Barton again. Like you said, those tackles just sort of stick out on the ends.
You saw Barton complaining to the officials. I don't know what it is, but they do. These tackles do something that the referees are watching, that they're calling a false start. The tackles don't believe it's a false start. Well, they better fix it because they're going to keep getting called, no doubt about it.
5 penalties, 36 yards against Illinois State to this point of the ballgame. Dunn will be close, maybe a yard shy. Well, they've really gone to him when they've needed a play. Kimbrough with the stop.
Yeah, and I was going to say he's a yard short. And Coach Spack won't even think about this. He's going to punt this out here. It's a game at field position because their defense is playing as well as they are.
There's Kimbrough. Again, if you're not sure where he is, just go to the football.
Yeah, as a former running back, guys like Kimbrough, they give me the heebie-jeebies. I don't even like looking at linebackers like that.
Well, you get to smell his breath quite a bit. He's in your ear hole all game long. Washington backpedals and takes it at the 26. Tripped up, a great stop. Tripped up by number 30, Dante McCoy. And we'll step aside. 8:01 left. 7-0 Redbirds. Seven 0 Illinois State as Appalachian State gets the ball again here in the second quarter. 8 minutes to go in the first half. Appalachian State has done very, very little. 10 yards of offense. A little misdirection, and this will spring for some yards. Just past the 35, Ben Erickson makes the stop on Stephen Miller. Let's go back down to the sideline, speaking of the Illinois State defense, and Angela Mallon.
On Illinois State's last defensive series, it came as no surprise to me after hearing Nowinski talk to his team. No surprise that they went 3 and out. He asked his team to go 3 and out, and he was relentless when speaking of Jamal Jackson.
Now, no doubt they've been stout, but all of a sudden they've seemed to loosen up a little bit, Greeny, as Miller takes it around the outside again, and he's starting to get hot here.
Yeah, good pickup. I think Nate Palmer, the defensive end, might have been held on that play, but you know what? If they don't call, it's not holding. And a nice job by Miller to get around that left side, pick up a big first down.
Ben Erickson came up to make the stop, but they are back, are the Mountaineers, across midfield. Second time today. Quick pass, and it went between two offensive players. Mike Zimmer, the linebacker, came up and tackled somebody right as the ball whizzed by his head.
Well, this is one of these tunnel screens where you try to get it, the receiver comes back inside the tunnel with the blockers, but problem is there's so much traffic in there, Ryan, that if it's not a perfect play, it usually gets blown up, and it did right there.
There you see 20 yards of total offense. This drive has pretty much been that many yards. Give him a yard, as we mentioned Mike Zimmer again, the middle linebacker. First team All-MoVal, 109 tackles in the ball game. This is 27th career start.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Kimbrell for App State, but Mike Zimmer is a very good middle linebacker himself, and right there, that was a picture-perfect tackle.
Jackson with a little bit of time, and he finds, hey, there's somebody else catches the ball. Andrew Peacock makes the grab. He's had 6 or more catches in the last 6 games.
Yeah, he's going to be just short of the first down, but I really like Peacock's effort. Watch him go up and make this catch, and he knows where the first down marker is. But look at him dive, and it's just short, and I like the call here by App State going for it.
And it looks like Coach Spack wants a timeout.
Has called their first timeout.
Unless that's Appalachian State that called the timeout. I think Coach Spack did. Peacock, who just caught that ball, just came off an 11-catch, 130-yard game, career highs against Furman. And if he were about 4 inches taller, he gets the first down there as he dove for it. Big fourth down play coming up on the other side of this timeout. 7-0 Illinois State. Momentum changer. Appalachian State trails by a touchdown, and they're going to go for it on fourth down. They're 10 of 21 this season, 6th best in the SoCon. Pitch it out. Miller, first down. Stephen Miller, a huge gain on 4th and 1.5. Evan Frierson came up to make the stop. He's got most of the yards for App State today.
Yeah, and it's a great call on 4th and 1. They run option to the right. I think Illinois State thought they would come up the middle. Quick option pitch there by Jackson, and a really nice run by Miller. Big play.
They run up to the line quickly. Miller again. He's to the second level, and he's down to the 15-yard line. Give him another 13 yards, so he has 48 of the team's, what is it, 65 yards?
Well, and he's feeling good. He's warmed up. We talked to Coach Jerry Moore. He said he likes to use one running back because he gets into the game, he gets warm, and boy, Miller's that guy. He's running really nicely right now.
I bet you'd love to hear that.
Oh, yeah. Feed me the rock, baby.
And they're getting it to him in all kinds of creative ways. Washington, he's got a blocker. He toes the sideline. He'll be down to 3, where it will be 1st and goal. Mike Banks made the tackle.
And this time there was a little play action pass to Miller. Froze the linebackers just enough. Jackson could get it out to Washington. And I really like Washington when he gets the ball. He doesn't mess around. He gets ahead of steam and he goes for that pylon.
Approaching 5 minutes to go in the first half. App State on the doorstep of tying this one up. Move Miller to the right, pitch it out to the 3, to the 2, and he stopped there. Underwood made the first stop, but he was finished off by Ezra Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, they went option again. That time Illinois State did a better job reading it and recovering and making the tackle on Miller before he could get it in the end zone.
"66 yards on this drive so far and away the most productive drive of the day for Appalachian State. Here's the 9th play of it coming up. Jackson leaps into the end zone, and he scores.
It's just effort, hustle. I mean, Jamal Jackson knows where the goal line is. You see the fake to Miller, and right here, he knows he's going to get hit. He goes airborne. He knows he's going to get flipped. Nice job securing the ball and getting it across that goal line. And that's just effort, want, and determination. Great job, Jamal Jackson.
Hashtag Air Jackson. The extra point ties it up. 4:15 remaining in the first half. Jackson got himself airborne. He earned his wings on this one. And Yosef is one happy Mountaineer as Jackson rushes for his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. 10 plays on that drive. They had 10 yards of offense before it, and they got 69 yards on the ground.
Oh, yeah, they definitely woke up in that series, no doubt about it. Is exactly what they needed to do. They got Miller going. We talked about establishing a run. Scott Satterfield got Miller the ball, made some really nice runs, and just capped it off with a nice touchdown plunge by Jamal Jackson.
After the day his defense had been putting up, the coaching staff on the Redbird sideline not at all happy that the Mountaineers have awakened here in the sleepy mountains of North Carolina.
Yeah, we talked about before, Ryan, this stadium is almost like you could hear a pin drop. It finally woke up. A little excitement here, exactly what Appalachian State needed. Good job, way to answer, and this game's tied at 7.
Illinois State offensively hasn't done much, particularly this quarter. And this one goes for a touchback. So they'll put it down to the 25-yard line. Here's the drive. It was a lot of Stephen Miller.
And that was the 4th down play. That was the big play on this drive. That was the play action of Miller as they passed it to Washington. Does a good job getting it down close to the goal line. And then Jamal Jackson with the leap over the goal line for the big score.
Miller, 11 carries, 49 yards, most of them on that drive. But they did mix the run and pass up on that drive.
They did.
Matt Brown, plenty of time, zips it out. And a catch. He got his 1 foot in. Did Donovan Harden, making his 2nd catch of the ball game.
And you talked about it, Ryan. Other than the touchdown drive, Illinois State offense really hasn't really done too much since that touchdown.
They had 83 yards on that drive, and they have 128 total yards. Brown zips it out, juggled, and I think incomplete. Trying to hit Walker, who they haven't gone to in a while.
And you notice, 2 App State defenders on the top, him and underneath him. They're going to double cover him, there's no doubt, with what he was doing early on in this game. Big
3rd down play. No, not picked off. Almost picked off again. Troy Sanders, who got his hand on that earlier pass, he jumped the route, gets his hands on another one.
Well, and that's the problem. Matt Brown locks on to one receiver. Look at him. His head never comes off. And I tell you, Sanders just playing center field at that strong safety position, jumps the route once again and almost picks it off. And if you ask me, probably would say he should have picked that one off.
Tom and Eric in the truck picked the perfect angle for that replay. You saw it as you were describing it. You saw him jump the route. You saw Brown stare his receivers down. Excellent job by our camera folks and our replay individuals as well. Directional kick, keep it away from Washington. It'll be first touched at the 42-43 yard line, and App State will have 3 minutes and change to try to push that one back down as Patrick Wright wisely keeping it away from Washington.
And you feel like a switch got flipped, Ryan, and the momentum is definitely switched in this game.
Stay tuned. The 2012 NCAA Division I Championship continues next weekend with quarterfinal games on December 8th. All the games will be on the ESPN family of networks. For more information, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. 7-7 here in Boone, North Carolina. One of the most mispronounced schools in the country. If you live in New York, they can be the Appalachians up there, but down here it's the Appalachians and the Appalachian State Mountaineers. Over the middle, quick catch and a run into the open. Sean Price, and I think he's gonna have that yardage record. All-time freshman leader in receptions and now yardage. Matt Goldsmith made the stop, but App State is on the move. Miller picks his way forward close to the 35-yard line. Stopped by Ben Erickson, number 7.
Yeah, and they have the Illinois State defense on their heels. I was watching, boy, that App State offensive line getting good push, and they're doing what they want now. They're running the ball, and more importantly, they're spreading the ball around the field. They're going to some different receivers. We saw Price the play before, getting him back involved. They're really on sync right now.
Got him guessing, that's for sure. Peacock, the receiver, in motion. And they'll go to Price, a little bubble screen. Down close to the 30-yard line. That'll be very close to an App State first down. Albert Sparks on the stop. They only allowed 5 sacks in their first 6 games, but App State has given up 17 sacks in the last 5. And Coach Moore and company told us, particularly on offense, Scott Satterfield, that it's just the growing pains of the young line.
And that was one of the keys to this game, was protect, protect, and protect. Protect the quarterback and protect the ball. So they knew what they need to do in this game today.
A few tackles for loss, but mostly on run plays. They haven't gotten to Jackson. And they'll float it down the sideline. Almost an acrobatic one-handed catch for Price. A big target at 6'5". Crowd wanted the call because of all the contact going down, but it was just hand fighting by both sides.
That's what it looked like. Goldsmith might have had Price hooked up. We'll have to take a look at it as they go down the left sideline. Right there, you don't see it. And that's a good matchup there because Price is so big, taking on the D-back Goldsmith. 4 or 5 inch advantage there for Price.
Price has the 5 catches today for the all-time freshman FCS record. He's 5 yards away from the yardage record. And of all players, 7th in the country in yards per game, 8th in catches per game. They finally get back there to get Jackson. And on a very important down, he goes down in the backfield, and a turnover on downs as Illinois State makes the stop. Evan Frierson, number 3.
Yeah, you're going to see him. He's a strong side linebacker. He's going to come up the middle. He fights off a block, does a really nice job. I love that. Gets off the block, and he still gets to the quarterback. Really nice job by Frierson there.
Coach back.
Defensive guy right there.
He's got a defensive mustache, too. I love that stash.
Yeah,
he looks like an angry defensive coach. Great guy to talk to, though. I really enjoyed our conversation with him. So with under 2 minutes to go, Illinois State will give it to Dunn. Almost got Jersey tackled back at the 40, but he'll get the ball up to the 46-yard line. And they're moving the football here. Troy Sanders made the stop for Appalachian State. Redbirds trying to take a quick lead before the half. And they will get the ball first in the second half. Brown felt the pressure, now looking for O'Shaughnessy. He makes the catch. Did he do it? Oh my goodness! James O'Shaughnessy got his 6'4" body up in the air and somehow pulled that one down.
And that's the third time they tried to get the wheel. I guess third time's the charm as he comes down with it. Field judge called it a good catch. We'll take a look at it here. Wrapped it up. Doesn't look like it hit the ground. Of course, we do have replay in the FCS playoffs. But right there, it looks like he's got it secured, Ryan, under that left arm. And he comes down inbounds, elbow hitting. It looks like a good catch.
That's outstanding. First and goal now from the 10. Dunn pulled back by his shoelaces by Ronald Blair, and a timeout.
Illinois State has called their second timeout. This will be
Illinois
a
State
30-second
takes its second timeout with 51 ticks left and the ball in the 9.
And give credit to Matt Brown on that play. You know, they say he's not that athletic. He's a lot more athletic than people say. He did a good job rolling out there, buying some time, and putting that ball on the money to O'Shaughnessy on the run. Really nice throw by Brown.
That had to have been a 45-yard throw in the air on the run to his right. That kid's got an arm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ball down at the 9-yard line, and that the big play of the day so far. And we will have a lot of halftime fun and frivolity. We'll have a preview of the Heisman race. We'll hear from our coaches. We'll recap the first half. We'll wind up the highlight reel, and we'll take a look at the stats. All that more coming up on the halftime report from Boone. Ryan Rose, Sweetie Angolia, Angela Mallon. As the Redbirds are on the precipice of a lead going into the half. Receivers to each corner, wide open in the end zone. Is it caught? He got a foot in, and that's all you need in college for a touchdown. Give it to O'Shaughnessy again after making the long bomb catch earlier. He comes up with his second touchdown catch of the year.
Oh, he's a good-looking tight end, 6'4", 245, a sophomore out of Naperville, Illinois. He's just going to run a corner route. There's a mix-up. No one covers him. Look how he goes up to make the catch, secure the ball, and make sure he gets the 1 foot in bounds. Exactly what you want to do. Man, he's a really nice-looking tight end.
There's a lot of good high school football in Naperville, Illinois. I have lived in Naperville. I've lived in both states, Illinois and North Carolina. There's some great high school football, good recruiting basis for these two schools. It's no wonder they're 8-3 and rolling in the playoffs.
And they've tried to go to O'Shaughnessy a lot today, so there was something in their game plan where they thought they had a mismatch that they could get to O'Shaughnessy, and boy, on that series, paid off big.
You know who's happy about that? Tyrone Walker. If you have another option, he's not going to be covered as much as you would think.
Sure.
There's the scoring drive, 4 plays, 61 yards, including 2 big catches by O'Shaughnessy, including the go-ahead score with 44 ticks left here in the second quarter.
And that's exactly what I think is happening. I think Walker had so much success early on in this game that they're starting to favor him. They're putting 2 guys, 1 under, 1 on top, and that loosens it up for other players, and O'Shaughnessy is the beneficiary of that, no doubt.
53 of the 61 yards on that drive credited to O'Shaughnessy. So 9 for the touchdown and 44 on the bomb from Brown. And all those watch parties back in the Central Time Zone, those folks are cranking it up back in Illinois and all over. If you're watching on your Watch ESPN app or ESPN3, the little squib kick taken in immediately down at the 28-yard line. App State one last shot at a score before the half, and this is what they're playing for. A chance to get to round 3. And a date with either Wagner or Eastern Washington. The winner of that game will be decided later tonight out in Cheney, Washington on that red turf. That's a cool looking field out there, kids. If Eastern Washington wins, it'll be out there. If not, it'll go down to a bidding process.
Yeah, and I called the Wagner game last week as they upset Colgate. It's going to be a tough challenge for them in Eastern Washington tonight.
First down for Appalachian State. Big pass to the sideline, caught, and out of bounds quickly. Andrew Peacock making his second grab of the game. And that only took 6 seconds off the clock. Spread them out again on second down and 3. More importantly, the clock. Jackson looks to the outside again. Here's Price on a screen, and he's open. He's loose at the 40. It takes 3 guys to bring him down, and he'll take it down to the 30-yard line. There's this offense we've been waiting for. Touchdown, touchdown, and driving. Yeah, the quick wide receiver screen to Price. And I mean, he is so dangerous. A big target, 6'5", and he can run. And they are in scoring position. Only 29 seconds, but they have all 3 timeouts left, Ryan. The clock did stop for the chains to move, but once they got
Illinois
set,
State
they fired it back up.
has called their final timeout. 30 seconds.
Call a timeout. 6 catches, 74 yards today for Price. And so on that play, he did break the all-time freshman FCS record for yardage. I mean, he's a freshman, and he was 7th in the league in yardage. As we take a look at the other half of the bracket, Wofford with a 2-score lead over New Hampshire. Georgia Southern is rolling over Central Arkansas. And oh, we got a close one between the Big South's Coastal Carolina and the Colonials' Old Dominion. That's in the second, all these games in the second quarter. They all kicked off at 2 o'clock with us, Eastern time. There's Price, 6 for 74. So for the season, 74 catches and over 1,100 yards receiving this season.
Yeah, not bad for a freshman.
For a rookie. He redshirted last year, was behind Brian Quick, who was the first pick in the second round by the St. Louis Rams. This pass just out of the past the outstretched arms of Andrew Peacock. Brian Quick has caught on with the Rams. He's got himself 7 catches, 135 yards, and a touchdown so far this year.
And they're similar receivers. Quick was a big receiver, 6'4", 200 pounds. But, you know, Price, just unbelievable. He's only a redshirt freshman with the year he's had this year.
He's got tremendous hands, and with that kind of size, you know there's no way he's not going to play on Sundays.
Oh, yeah, he just has to keep progressing, and he's a good one.
Spread him out. Jackson down the seam, and he caught Peacock over the wrong shoulder. Got him turned around, and we'll have a third down play coming up with 15 seconds.
Yeah, he tried to fit it in the seam to Peacock, but Ezra Banks, 22 for Illinois State, the free safety, did a really nice job there. From the free safety position, if you put yourself in a good place, you can actually cover a couple different routes and a couple different receivers at the same time.
Downs don't really matter now with 15 ticks. Let's see what Price can do. He's going to get out of bounds to the sideline. He'll get there at the 15. That's a first down and 8 seconds left. Price, that's going to be about a 15-yard catch. He's looking for his 7th 100-yard game today.
Yeah, you know, and with about 8 seconds left as we take a look at that play, you really have 2 plays left here. You don't want to blow it. You at least want to get a shot at the field goal. But here, boy, I tell you what, I go to Sean Price. He's 6'5". Get him in the corner of the end zone. Get one of those jump balls. See if he can't go up and make that back shoulder fade catch that we see so often in today's game.
Price is the lone receiver to the right, and they jumped before the snap.
False start. 64 offense. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
Yeah, and they had one-on-one coverage right there with Price, and I think they were going to go to him. We'll see if Scott Satterfield calls the same play, although they're back at the 20 now. When we take a look at it, you're going to see the move. as he just wanted to get that little head start and got caught.
Will Corbin, the first penalty against the offensive line for Appalachian State. Will Corbin, the sophomore right tackle. Very disciplined bunch. They've done a great job of keeping Illinois State out of the backfield. Jackson's going to go for the corner of the end zone, just past Peacock as he dove for it. 4 ticks left. And he'll take, you don't want to leave points out there, so App State will put the field goal unit in.
Yeah, Illinois State was in press coverage. Ben Erickson was on Peacock there. Peacock had a little separation. Jackson almost fit it in. Good try, good effort, but they're still in field goal range here to try to get something positive before the end of the first half here.
Sam Martin has hit 6 out of 9 field goals. 37-yarder. It's got the distance and it's got the accuracy, and it's got 3 points for Appalachian State as we go to the half. Illinois State's lead cut down to 4, but these two teams are averaging nearly 30 points a game on average combined. 28 for Illinois State, 32 for App, so we do expect quite a few more points. Second quarter, a lot more lively than the first one. It was only 7-0 at the end of the first.
And I really like how App State answered with only 43 seconds left in the half to get those 3 before halftime.
Angela's got Coach back on the sideline.
You had my better side.
Coach, what's been the hardest thing this first half and really trying to get into your game plan?
The players on their side of the field are pretty good. When you have a layoff like this, both teams, you can see both offenses are struggling a little bit, and all the bowl experience I've had over the years, it's when you're in a your passing game really suffers. So that's been the hardest part, I think, for both teams, is get our timing down.
And giving up those 7 late points, you were able to get a stop down here. What will be your message to your defense going into this second half?
Well, we can't give up big plays. You got to tackle well. Just keep doing what we're doing. You know, we're playing pretty well, but we have 30 more minutes to play. So,
Coach, thank you.
You bet.
Ryan.
Thank you, Angela. And Coach Spack will have his guys settle in. We saw some offense get going late in the first half. Illinois State with a 4-point lead at the break. Illinois State on top 14-10, and Angela Mallon is on the sidelines with ASU head coach Jerry Moore.
Coach, you cut that lead down to 4 before halftime, but in the second half, where did you find that momentum?
Well, we just made so many mistakes in the first quarter that we just backed ourselves, painted ourselves into the corner. We were able to overcome it in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the second quarter. And then we gave up one big play on the throw. And other than that, we've been playing well. But offensively, we just hadn't played well at all until the last 5 minutes of the second quarter.
So what was your message at halftime as you go out here and attack in this second half?
It's over with. This is our season right here. We go play this second half like we can play. We can win this ball game. We just show up, we'll get beat.
Coach, thank you. And Ryan, this right here, this Snicker bar, Coach Moore just had it. He said, Angela, you need to keep your blood sugar up too. Thanks, Coach.
They've been off for 3 weeks. They haven't played a game. They had a bye the last week. They had a bye next week. And so finally back to playing. And this is what we saw in the first half. The numbers certainly favored Illinois State for most of the first quarter until Appalachian State was able to put together those long 2 drives. And Rini, these tell the tale that it is indeed a close game.
Yeah, exactly right. You look at them. Really, the only thing, Illinois State, 50%, 4 for 8 on third down. App State, 1 for 7. But other than that, very similar all across the board, and hence why we have a 14-10 ball game.
About 40 yards difference between the two teams total. The penalties not so great if you're an Illinois State offensive lineman. But after the 1 for 7 on third downs, App State converted a big 4th down play and kept the drive alive and got down in there to score. And as Jackson has the only rushing touchdown of the game for App State. Uh-oh, we've got a torn household whose team will pull through. The daughter says App State. The mom says Redbirds. I like that. That's great. I also saw a sign, all I want for Christmas is a D1 championship. Also like that one, too. And if you're going to get it, you got to go through some good teams. All the other games on this half of the bracket have yet to kick off. Wagner, Eastern Washington tonight on ESPN3. From the red turf out in Cheney, Washington. Stony Brook, Montana State, Cal Poly, Sam Houston State will kick off a little bit later today. The other 3 games are on the other half of the bracket. We'll check those throughout the course of the night. And the kickoff goes out of bounds. Illinois State will get it first from the 25-yard line. Wofford up 13-0 starting the second half. Georgia Southern all over Central Arkansas at the half. And Old Dominion hanging on with a touchdown edge over the Chanticleers at halftime. North Dakota State, South Dakota State, the other 2 teams from the Missouri Valley Football Conference will kick off in about 15 minutes or so. Matt Brown, 9 out of 17, $152, 2 touchdown passes in the game. One of those was a long run after the catch by Tyrone Walker. And of course, you remember the one at the end of the half, a big bomb to O'Shaughnessy, capped off by a short post route, or rather a flag route to O'Shaughnessy in the end zone. So now the coaching staff has something to say to the officials. Not sure what this is about.
And he conferred with the umpire, and he's going to run back and talk to the coaches again.
Certainly isn't the spot of the football when it's a touchback, so it's at the 25-yard line this year.
Referee's Matt Young, get a little exercise, a little loosening up before the start of the second half.
A little FaceTime.
Yeah.
Gives us some mention, makes us want to mention the Ohio Valley Conference and its officiating crew today. They've done a great job. First down 10, starting the second half. Brown waves off hard and tells him to go back. 10 seconds on the play clock. They're going to go to the air. Wide open on the far sideline. A nice catch over there by Tyrone Walker. Jamil Lott with the stop.
And it almost looks like Matt Brown might have changed that play. You know, we saw a lot of talk in there on that play. It's just an outside stop route. He finds the one-on-one coverage, and he does a nice job getting it to Tyrone Walker.
Walker, 4 catches, 83 yards. Walker and Price are probably going to go over 100 yards each today, which makes us look really smart for featuring them in the open. Not a hard guess to make, though. Here's Dunn. He got back to the line of scrimmage, but not much after that. Looked like Brandon Greer, the weak side linebacker, made the hit.
And although Illinois State leads this game, I really believe the key to them coming out here with a W when it's all said and done is they have to get this ground game going. They really haven't been able to do that at all. If not, it could be a long second half for them.
Says a man who had 54 career touchdowns rushing the football. 5 receptions, 99 yards, and a touchdown for Tyrone Walker. You always root for the running backs.
Well, you got to pull for him, you know.
5 receivers in the pattern for Brown. And he short arms it, underthrows Walker. App State's Miller had 53 yards rushing in the first half. Dunn just 38, and I would wager to say a bunch of those were in the first quarter.
Well, absolutely they were. And the problem is when you can't establish a run, now you're 3rd and long. So App State, you know, that last play they had a 2-deep zone coverage. They were man-to-man underneath on Walker and Hardin, and they can play aggressive with them. They know it's a throwing down and distance.
No hit Hardin on the screen, but it doesn't go for much. Give him 5 yards as Joel Ross, the star backer for Appalachian State, kept that one from being a bigger play.
And exactly what the App State defense wanted to do, 3 and out on a long 3rd down. They'll give him the underneath wide receiver screen, just come up and make the sure tackle, and it's a good start of this half to App State.
So if you're a Mountaineer defensive player and you can make coverage on 1st down, looks like you're in pretty good shape. You're starting to solve the puzzle of the Matt Brown. Low line drive kick taken back at the 12-yard line by Tony Washington. He'll get out to the 20. And that's where App State will get the football first in the second half. SoCon standings this year. Appalachian State wins the SoCon for the 7th time in 8 years. They share it with Georgia Southern and Wofford, all 6-2. And those 3 teams all made it to the postseason, all playing this weekend. App State tied for first, ranked number 8, 12th total school history title in the SoCon, and 10th in the FCS in yards per game, the first title they've shared since '99. Let me say that again, the 12 total titles tied for Furman with the most in conference history.
And the one thing about the SoCon, the Southern Conference, it is a physical, tough conference. And we talked to Coach Jerry Moore about it. And he said, really, his team was beat up as well as a lot of other teams in this conference, but it will prepare you for other teams around the nation. It's a very good conference, the SoCon.
A lot of option in this league. And if you come out of here tested with that kind of lineup, you're going to do well in the playoffs. Georgia Southern and App State have won a bunch of titles. Jackson in trouble out of the backfield, caught. Back to the original line of scrimmage as Miller slides and catches, and they had all kinds of pressure on Jackson. Banks with the stop.
Yeah, well, we talked about Colton Underwood. He is so fast off the ball, along with Nate Palmer. They get there in a hurry to force Jackson to throw that ball. Lucky it gets completed on that one.
Underwood's younger brother, Connor, is a defensive end at Indiana State, and you see the ridiculous numbers
yeah.
up front. You don't see these kinds of numbers, including the quarterback hurries.
And Underwood has 89 total tackles for a defensive end is unbelievable as well.
Jackson with time, overthrows Price. Matt Goldsmith in coverage for Illinois State, and this should elicit a punt from the black and gold.
Yeah, I mean, Price is big, 6'5", but that one was just a little too high for him to go up and get it.
We start the second half much like we started the first, with the offenses sort of taking a step back. Hardin stands back at his 30-yard line as you see the punt formation. Of course, Sam Martin, who has had a punt blocked this year. Fair catch on a very high kick, and ISU will start at the 36-yard line. 14-10, Illinois State. Just a few minutes into the third quarter. We will step aside and come back with the Redbirds getting the ball back with a 4-point lead up the mountains of Boone. (14-10) Illinois State. ESPN College Football is available anytime, anywhere on your computer or mobile device via WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. Brian Rose, Rini Angolia, Angela Mallon, a cast of hundreds, and a crowd of thousands here from Boone, North Carolina. Round 2 of the FCS championships. Appalachian State hosting Illinois State, and on first down Illinois State will get it up to the 40-yard line, and you want to see a little more Darylin Dunn.
Well, I liked the run on first down. Picked up 4, which is nice. Makes second down here a manageable down and distance. You can do a bunch of different things when you pick up yardage on first down.
One receiver in motion, Brown. Looked like he hit his lineman, but incomplete.
They wanted to run a screen there, no doubt about it. Appalachian State sniffed it out, got good penetration. And the ball hit the defender there. Went to
Deuce
the ground.
Robinson. And if you're Deuce, you cannot wear a number other than 2. That is against the rules.
Yeah, that's a prerequisite, right? If your name's Deuce.
Sophomore,
2.
36 tackles, and you heard the crowd say Deuce. Top of your screen, Walker out by himself. And they'll go to him. He's got it, and he's got a first down. And the man who is assigned to cover him, Demetrius McCray, who's their best cover guy, and Coach Moore said, we're going to put him on Walker. Defensive coordinator Dale Jones told us he wants that matchup.
Well, you think Walker's eyes light up, Matt Brown's eyes light up when they see one-on-one coverage. It's a challenge for Demetrius McCray. And then let me say, when you're a D-back like that with one-on-one coverage, you're on an island. And McCray's a good one, but Walker's good too. So it's a great matchup out there.
He's got 11 career picks. Brown's going to go for it all. Incomplete. And a late flag comes in. It's that same matchup, McCray against Walker. It looked like they both extended an arm, but perhaps he got pulled down at the end of this play.
It was the back judge that made the call. It wasn't a field. Did you see that grab right there with that left hand right there? That's a great call by the back judge. Had a good view of it, and he called it.
I couldn't see that from here because we were screened, but that angle tells you exactly what, like you said, what the back judge saw, and that, yes, sir, it was a fistful of Redbird jersey.
And I tell you, if the jersey didn't come away, if McCray didn't pull that jersey away, he wouldn't have been called there. It's that jersey came away from the receiver, but it's a good call by the back judge there.
What time we're wearing your white jersey helped you out. Fake it to Dunn. Brown is on the move, and he will keep it and run out of bounds about a yard past the line of scrimmage. Walker, 6 catches, 108 yards in the ball game with the touchdown, his 5th 100-yard game.
And I like here Matt Brown. He's a smart, intelligent quarterback. He doesn't force it into double coverage. He tucks it, gets around the corner, picks up 2 on that play, live another down. Doesn't try to force it in there. Although he has that gunslinger mentality, smart play there not to force that one.
He's got a couple of 300-yard games as well this year, does Brown. And they'll give it to Cameron Hunt. Carl Anderson, the backup weak side linebacker, came up to make the stop. So an interesting 3rd down coming up here for the Illinois State Redbirds. They've been about 50% on the game.
And they're going to look for the one-on-one coverage once again over Tyrone Walker. They did it last time. He had that one-on-one coverage, and they went to the slant route. Let's see what they do here.
4-down territory. Much rather come away with a touchdown here than a field goal. Well, you pretty much would rather any time, any game. Brown's going to run it himself. Will he reach the goal? He will reach the 1st down marker. He'll take it all the way to the 24-yard line. He got it by 1.5 yards. Who says he can't run?
We talked about him. He's sneaky athletic. You see him, he started to the right, he rolls to the left, and he knows right away he's running this thing. The only thing I would tell Matt Brown is go ahead and tuck that thing away in your left arm in case you get popped. But really, good job by Matt Brown, knowing where that 1st down marker is, making his mind up he's going to run for it and picking it up.
He's the 3rd Illinois State Redbird to be named Offensive Player of the Year. Laurent Robinson, who's a wideout with Jacksonville, was the 2nd. The 1st was quarterback Toby Davis in 1992. Good company. Dunn bowls through the first man, and he will have a big gain on 1st down. Troy Sanders got trucked.
We talked about how physical and a tough runner he is. He does a great job, what I like to call running behind your pads. You see how he lowered his pad level there and just went through Sanders? And we know how tough Sanders is from that strong safety spot. But nice job by Darrell Dunn getting behind his pads, positive yards, picking up 7 positive yards on first down.
You can open up your playbook on 2nd and 2. End zone just 17 yards away, and they will get there on a screen to Harden. Another Redbird touchdown.
And you love the play call on the wide receiver screen to Harden. You think they're going to go to their All-American first-team Tyrone Walker. Instead, they go to Harden. Walker comes in, nice little block, and boy, Harden puts on the Jets as he turns the corner for an easy score.
Walker was the decoy. They've been throwing to him all game. Why not? Extra point, up, and good. 3 touchdown passes for Matt Brown. 23 on the season. And the career leader in the MoVal in attempts, completions, yards, and total offense. Tacks on another score here from Boone, North Carolina, and ISU has a big lead. (21-10) Illinois State. Matt Brown a yard away from 200 yards for the game. That was an Illinois State drive right there. 8 plays, 64 yards, 4 minutes of clock.
Yeah, they did exactly what they wanted to do. Had some good success running the ball as well. Moved it around at some different receivers. Nice job, nice drive.
Washington dips his toe in his own end zone and now brings it out to the 22-yard line. And look at Joseph. He's awfully quiet, standing in front of a very quiet side of the field.
He doesn't look happy with that expression, although I don't think that expression ever changes.
Yeah, he's pretty stone-faced. He's trying not to let on that he's a little frustrated right now. The App State offense won the second quarter, but so far, not much on that first drive, and the defense just gave up a long run.
It's kind of mirroring the first quarter. Illinois State had the advantage in that quarter, so we'll see if App State can answer here.
Miller blocks for Jackson, and he tries to dump it off to Price over the middle. And now a quick conversation between he and Mike Zimmer.
And Zimmer did a good job laying off him. How many times did we see those 15-yard penalties when the defenseless receiver, the ball had already gone by, and the defensive guy says, I'm going to take a shot at him anyway. Good job by Zimmer to lay off there.
Coach Moore telling his guys, this is it. This is the season. If you can't take care of business, it's going to end here like it did last year against Maine. Right side, they'll find Price across the 25. He'll pick up about 4 or 5 yards. It hasn't been this quiet all day.
No, it definitely is. And really, that's what impresses me so much about Illinois State is their record on the road, their ability to come into hostile places and play very well.
Well, it's a long drive. They don't have nearly the fan support they would love to have, you'd think. But it's a long way from Illinois to Boone. Another big play to get the offense going.
Well, this is a smash route. They run Peacock over the top. They run Price underneath. Really nice job.
Let's go down to the field. Angela Mallon. Angela.
Guys, it was a tag team effort between Chris Foster and Jerry Moore as they spoke to their defense saying, this is it. This is the end of our season. Can you look your teammate in the eye and say you gave it everything to stop that play? You need to ask yourself that, and you need to go out and play defense.
Those guys, hopefully, if you're an App State fan, have a lot of time to let that sink in because the offense needs to keep the ball and score. They get it to Peacock again, trying to come back up the seam. Nice gainer on first down. So second down and about 7.
And I tell you what, Jamal Jackson, the quarterback, took an absolute shot on that play right as he released the ball. I believe it was Colton Underwood. The defensive front continues to get to him, although they're not sacking him. Boy, they're making him making their presence felt.
Pass to the right side. Malachi Jones off to the races, and App State has answered. He found another gear. Second career touchdown for the Z receiver, Malachi Jones. He's a freshman.
I was going to say, you know, he's saying, well, Sean Price isn't the only great freshman on this team. Just a little bubble screen to the receiver, and right here is where you talked about, Ryan, another gear. He steps on it, and Illinois State does not have a chance at catching him on his way to the end zone.
What was a 2-score game just got back to 4 points with the extra point up and good. He had 5 catches in his first game, the most in a debut at App State since '97, making his second career touchdown. These freshmen are having a big game for App State, and they need to continue if the Mountaineers are to advance to round 3. Malachi Jones with a huge touchdown catch, 48 yards.
Well, I love this play call. You're going to see play action underneath the Miller. The defense comes outside bubble screen. You see 15, Tony Washington blocking. Malachi Jones just has to make one defender miss, which he does, and he's off to the races. Perfect execution on that play there.
They'll let the ball land in the end zone for the touchback.
The ball hit in the end zone by rule.
Touches the
It's
end
dead,
zone,
and
it is
that's
a
a touchback.
touchback in college football. Malachi Jones, and as soon as he got that one block from Washington, and he had a step, and then by the time he scored, he had about 6 steps.
He
It looked
sure
like
did.
a thoroughbred just pulling away from the pack.
Well, Coach Jerry Moore told us, in totality, this wide receiving core is maybe the best it's ever been here with Price, Peacock, Malachi Jones, and Tony Washington. Just Price is getting a lot of attention, and rightfully so for the great year he's having, but as a group, they are doing an excellent job this season.
Dunn, he will poke ahead past the 30 to the 32-yard line. Feed the beast.
Well, if you're Illinois State, just keep doing what you did in that last possession. Get positive yards on first down, check. They just did that there. Opens the playbook up. Spread the ball around, look for Tyrone Walker, but just get that running game going. They were great last possession. Let's see if they can mirror it here again.
Illinois State's worst quarter has been the third quarter this season for opposing teams. But they have racked up 76 third quarter points in their first 11 games, so averaging about a touchdown a quarter. This one will get them close to a first down. Stephen Burns made the stop a yard short. Appalachian State has been outscored only in third quarters this year. They've only scored 48 points in the third quarter this season, allowing 62. Here's Dunn. He'll dive it across the pile, so 3 runs for Dunn, the senior who missed a couple of games. Otherwise, he'd have 1,000 yards rushing and broke his hand. But with getting his cast off 2 weeks ago and then having a week to rest, he should be at full strength today.
And he's the type of runner you like that runs between the tackles, up the middle, does a nice job, low on his pads. 3 straight runs in a row for him, and they pick up the first down.
15 carries, 58 yards for Dunn. That gets him over 900 for the season. Pass complete. That was a tight window caught by Tyrone Walker with Demetrius McCray basically wearing his jersey.
Well, and the gunslinger, Matt Brown, he just slings this thing. Watch how quick he gets rid of it. Watch, it's almost half a sidearm, and it's like a rocket. Puts it on the money to Walker, and good thing McCray held on there, because if not, Walker was going to the house with that one.
You better have gloves if you're going to warm him up, because he's going to sting and get the skin off of your fingers as hard as he throws that ball. A few yards shy midfield, first down for the Redbirds, leading by 4. Dunn knifes through and will gain about 4 more yards. He has 4 100-yard rushing games, does Darrell Dunn. And his story is right out of the Blind Side movie script. He is staying with a local family that kind of adopted him as well. If you've seen that movie, then that's basically Dunn's life. Second down. Now across midfield. Second straight drive that has gone into ASU territory. This went out to Walker, and he makes one man miss and gets up near the 30-yard line for another Illinois State first down. Patrick Blaylock made the stop after Walker shook off Troy Sanders, or excuse me, Demetrius McCray.
And I know we've said it like 10 times today, but I can't tell you how important it is how quick Matt Brown throws the ball, because it gets on to his receiver, Tyrone Walker, so quick that the defender is a step behind that he normally would be with a quarterback that doesn't throw it that quick, and it gives him time to make the catch, make a move, and get yardage.
Brown steps up in the pocket, goes down the sideline. What a catch! Walker! Over his shoulder. He had to have lost sight of that ball for a split second, but he lays out for a terrific grab.
Are you kidding me? With that throw and catch from Matt Brown to Tyrone Walker, incredible. The throw was great, and as you said, Walker had to lose this ball for a second. He's draped by McCray with really very good coverage by McCray. The arm goes up. Walker, what concentration to make that catch.
He's got a new season high, 169 yards receiving, his 5th 100-yard catch game of the season. Hashtag Air Redbirds.
Well, I mean, as great as the catch was, the throw was equal, because watch this coverage by number 10, Demetrius McCray. He's right on him. His hands are on him. He's hand checking him. He looks back, and that ball gets dropped right in the breadbasket. You can't throw it any better. And great concentration by Tyrone Walker for the big touchdown for the Redbirds.
McCray wanted the challenge. He got it, and he got all he could handle today. And I'm not going to blame him. Who can cover this guy?
Yeah. Well, and it was really good coverage there.
It was.
It was a perfect pass and a great catch for that score.
That guy right there and that guy right there have been a whole lot of offense. 2 touchdowns between the two of them. 2 big touchdowns.
Well, they answered my question, and they did exactly what they did the drive before. They went down the field and scored. So the Illinois State offense, it really looks like they're in sync here in the second half.
3 consecutive touchdown drives, all resulting in passing touchdowns for their respective quarterbacks. 169 is the season high for Tyrone Walker. That one a 32-yard touchdown. And now at the 4-yard line, Washington past the 20 to the 22, and that's where App State will start their next drive. Kansas State's fantastic regular season comes to a close with a must-win finale in Manhattan as Colin Klein of the Wildcats look to secure a Big 12 title, an automatic BCS bid against Case McCoy and the Longhorns. Saturday Night Football presented by Windows 8, number 18 Texas and number 6 Kansas State. That's tonight at 8 on ABC. We are happy to be a part of your football watching Saturday championship week. SEC, ACC, Big 12, Pac-12, Big 12, Big 10.
A lot of great football today.
FCS round 2, more games to come tonight on ESPN3. You've got your Watch ESPN app, Goal Line channel. You can't have enough screens today.
You could be in heaven at home. You got the TV, you get the iPad there with the Watch ESPN app, and you can just flip them around and watch them all. It's just a great day to be a college football fan.
You can't have enough screens today. 337 yards on 50 plays for Illinois State and 6 straight completions. As I thought the right tackle jumped early there. 6 straight completions for Jamal Jackson.
False start, 64 offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Will Corbin, the right tackle, was nabbed for that one. Tony Washington is on the sidelines. Let's see what happened at the end of this kick return.
Yeah, we'll see if we can catch it. It's just a middle return. He gets up right there. 27 rolls him. You can tell. And unfortunately, when you're a returner, you got guys flying in from all angles, and a lot of times you get rolled up on. Hopefully, it's just a little ankle twist there for Washington.
Second and long, looking for his 7th straight completion. It is. Price catches it, takes a shot at the end of the play while he was still in bounds. Crowd not happy with it.
Yeah, the crowd didn't like it, but when you're fighting for extra yards and you're a safety coming up, you're going to give that receiver a shot. So the Price needs to know you either got to get out of bounds or go down. We're going to take a look at it here. Makes a nice catch, and I like the effort, the way he's fighting, but, you know, the safety's going to come up and hit you.
7, now 8 straight completions. Andrew Peacock makes that catch, and that'll be an App State first down. Sean Price has gone over 100 yards. He's got 9 catches, 104. And that'll be his 7th 100-yard game of the season. Mike Banks for Illinois State made the tackle on that last play, first down. Back to the ground, and Miller, he'll get a yard. And Shelby Harris there to make the stop. There's Price in his day. The all-time single-season freshman in FCS history ever for a freshman. Now, he's a redshirt freshman, but this is his first year of playing.
Yeah, still a freshman. That's an unbelievable accomplishment.
Jackson flushed out, gonna run it. Nearly shoelace tackled, but he finds his way across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Colton Underwood was the man who finally brought him down.
Well, what great effort by Underwood. That's a defensive end that rushes upfield. As Jackson steps up in the pocket, Underwood tracks him down from behind. You think it's just kind of a nothing tackle, but he prevents him from getting the first down.
3rd down and 2, final play of the quarter. If it happens, it does. Clock's at 0. They're going to dump it over the middle. Miller out of the backfield. And the spot looks short by a yard. We'll have a 4th down decision. When the teams flip sides of the field, they'll go all of 18 yards, turn it back around, and we'll start the final quarter of play. App State trying not to have happen what happened last year with a home loss to Maine. Illinois State on top of Appalachian State. 4th down, and the Mountaineers have decided to punt on their own side of the 50. As we start the 4th quarter, a fair catch, and Illinois State will have it at the 14-yard line. We take another look at our brackets. Another game on our side of the bracket has kicked off. Sam Houston State, who I thought was going to win it all last year, taking on Cal Poly. Montana State, Stony Brook coming up a little bit later, and then even later than that, out on the West Coast, Eastern Washington against Wagner. The North Dakota State-South Dakota State game has kicked off. Wofford leads in the 4th quarter. So does Georgia Southern there in the 3rd. And Old Dominion now has a 2-touchdown lead at home up in Norfolk against Coastal Carolina. You won't switch over yet, but you can switch over to any of these games on ESPN3. But I know you're not leaving us, as Dunn is taken down in the backfield. Deuce and Jeremy Kimbrough back there to make the stop.
Well, Illinois State had been getting success on 1st down runs. Not that time, as App State, a little run blitz, come up the middle and make the tackle for the 1-yard loss on 1st down.
Kimbrough with 10 tackles in the ballgame. He's been a factor. And a loss of a yard, so 2nd and 11. And speaking of lost yardage, and speaking of Jeremy Kimbrough, he got in the backfield and he came angry.
Well, and you see how fast he is. This is a linebacker that's 240 pounds. Watch him read and react. Sees the handoff, and he gets there to make the tackle for App State. And yeah, he looks aggravated. Very good lateral movement Kimbrough has, and just a strong dude.
He's watched the Redbirds air attack carve up his secondary, and he's not going to let it. He's not going to stand for it anymore. 2.5 tackles for loss in the game already. Illinois State back to the ground just to get a little punting room there, as Ronald Blair, the leader in career starts on this front line. They start 2 freshmen, and this guy, who as a sophomore has 23 starts in a row, 24 if you count today. He makes the stop, and all of a sudden somebody woke up the App State defense, because they came out and really stymied the -2 yards on this drive.
They were up for the challenge. They're exactly what Appalachian State needed. Their defense to step up, and they're going to get the ball back in a pretty good field position.
Kicking away from Bobo Bethard. But Bobo Bethard, I should say, as Washington not out there to make the punt return. And the crowd really starting to get into it here, as Appalachian State will have excellent field position on the Illinois State 47-yard line. Reedy, you got to figure with a short field, they might be able to get in the end zone quickly and get this back to a ball game.
Absolutely. Our defense did what they needed to do, got them back the ball. Now the offense, they just need that one play. Get a little spark going here. Plenty of time left in this game. Down 11. They just need that one play, get a little spark going. But it's one thing about this offense. They are very potent with these receivers. You get them to the ball, get them the ball in space, and they can make things happen in a hurry.
They came from behind to beat Georgia Southern a few weeks ago. The question is, can the Mountaineers do it here at home? On first down, they'll get it out to the 45-yard line. And coaches and fans wanting something for the extracurriculars at the end.
Not going to get it.
Sean Price got it, though.
Well, and then here's the bubble screen again. They try to get the Price, and you want to get it in your hands, your best receiver. Let him make something happen, but good job. Look at Illinois State. Look how they swarm to the ball. He got pulled down a little bit, but, you know, on the Illinois State sideline, I don't think that's going to get called. It wasn't that egregious.
Second down, Jackson, a nice pocket, and it's caught. Sims McElfresh bursts free, and he is down inside the 5 at the 1-yard line. McElfresh only had 42 yards receiving for the season. He went over that on that catch.
Well, he goes right down the seam. No one covers Sims McElfresh, and watch how good of a runner he becomes. Picks up a great block there. He fights for the pylon, just steps out at the 1-yard line.
The previous long was 13 yards, and he's in for Washington, who's out. Give him 46 on that play. And now they'll go on the ground to Takoy Sumler. I'm sorry, is that Rod Chisholm? Rod Chisholm got the ball, number 8. Mr. I am committed was trying to punch it in. He's still in the backfield. And they'll give it to him again, and he will score his second touchdown of the season. App State comes back again to get it within 5.
Well, we talked about how explosive they are, how quick hitting they are with the big play to Sims McElfresh. And then right up the middle, just an inside handoff to Rod Chisholm. Does a nice job, gets low, and gets it in the end zone.
His Twitter handle is McFresh93. So a shout out to Sims McElfresh and a shout out to Rod Chisholm. when the players all signed their name to the big mural in the practice facility in the meeting room, Rod Chisholm was the only player to write something besides his name. He said, "I am committed." He was the starting running back at the beginning of the season against East Carolina. He broke his hand, and then Stephen Miller emerged. He was his backup for the rest of the year, and he gets in the end zone in the playoffs. And a spark. You got to say that's a spark for this team.
Well, I love the fact that he wrote, "I am committed." The rest of his teammates took to that. They love that he did it. And really, football is the ultimate team sport. You pull together as a unit, and they're all committed, no doubt about it.
Booting it all the way out of the end zone. That's a tremendous kickoff. Total yardage now evening up a little bit. Appalachian State trailing Illinois State by about 31 yards of total offense. Both teams have run about 53, 54 plays. It's evening up. There you see the total yardage. We've got ourselves a barn burner here in the fourth quarter, and if the App State defense can come out and do what they just did 5 or 6 plays ago, holding the Redbirds to a 3-and-out, they may actually get their first lead of the game, but Illinois State is one tough offense to deal with.
And this is the loudest this crowd, this stadium has been today. It's rocking. We'll see how Illinois State answers here.
Dunn in the backfield with Brown. Brown goes through his progressions and now takes off, has a first down to the 45, 40, yep, right on the 45-yard line. Keeps the chains moving. They had everybody covered, but nobody accounted for Matt Brown.
Again, sneaky athletic as Brown rolls out to the right, and he's such a good thrower of the ball, and he can throw it so quick that everyone was covered, but he just tucked it and ran. A nice pickup for Matt Brown.
Jordan Newkirk, the fullback, will block for Dunn, and they'll get a yard and a half. It's not enough to get Dunn coming at you. They'll send Jordan Newkirk 6'2", 240 in your face.
I know we love this kid, this fullback. You know, he's first team all conference, and he's only carried the ball hardly any. He's got 4 receptions for the year, so you know he's a tough blocker if he's first team all conference without carrying the ball.
Brown looking for the sideline and Harden, who makes the catch, and the Redbird air attack is still in force.
This throw is absolutely impossible to cover. This is a back shoulder pass where only Harden, the receiver, can turn around because he sees the ball coming. If he doesn't catch it, no one's catching it. That is the hardest play in football to defend for a defensive back, bar none.
If it's accurate,
correct,
Patrick Bullock has no shot.
Yeah, if it's thrown correctly to that back shoulder, that is a deadly play.
First down 10 from the 23-yard line. Dunn cuts it back, makes another cut. A nice chunk of yardage. He'll get it inside the red zone. That's where Illinois State finished second in the conference. 38 scores and 42 tries. Kimbrough made the stop.
And Illinois State's got a nice drive going here. Taking some time off this clock, mixing it up with the passes and runs. Really nice job by Matt Brown managing this offense on this series.
32 touchdowns, 6 field goals entering the playoffs in the red zone. Matt Brown changes the play. And now he tucks, thinks about running it, tries to stiff arm, but Kimbrough's having none of that. Jeremy Kimbrough.
And right here, this is where Matt Brown, he needs to understand, listen, I'm going to take a big shot here. Don't do it. Throw that ball away. You're outside of the pocket. Launch it out of bounds. Takes a big hit here from Kimbrough. Big defensive play.
Good athletic genes. His mom played hoops and his dad played on the defensive side, both at the University of Tennessee. 14 tackles, 3.5 for loss for Kimbrough.
You know, and if they don't gain another yard here, it's going to be a pretty long field goal to try to put them back up by 7.
7 third down conversions in the game. Dumping out to Dunn and Kimbrough. No, sir.
And watch Kimbrough on this play. 71, the right guard, Rocco Amons. Watch him turn around to peel and block him. Can't get there quick enough. Shows you the speed of Kimbrough to get around that block and track down Darrell and Dunn for a minimal gain. 15 tackles today, just 2 off his career high. And this is going to be a 41-yard field goal attempt by Nick Ossaker. It's on the way, and it's good. And that makes it a touchdown difference. 31-24. That's his 4th field goal of over 40 yards this season, and that makes it a comfortable 7-point lead. Illinois State gets a field goal of 41 yards to cap off a 7-play, 51-yard drive. Nobody is sitting. There are a lot of seats in the facility, but they're not being used, either in the stands or on the sidelines, as the sun starts to set on the Appalachian Mountains here in Boone, North Carolina. Kickoff taken from a yard deep. Washington's back in there. He will get it out to the 19-yard line. Jeremy Kimbrough has been outstanding today, and we'll get a look at him. He's everything you want out of a middle linebacker. He reads and reacts extremely quick, and when he gets to the ball, he gets there with an attitude, exactly what you want. Watch him track the quarterback, Matt Brown, down here to make the big play. Watch him, he beats the blocker, shows his speed. Just a great linebacker. Coming into this game, 128 total tackles, 9 TFLs. Well, he's added to that just a little bit today.
15 tackles, 2 off of his career high, and he has really come alive in the second half when Appalachian State has had to have him. Down a touchdown, they're going to the sidelines. It is caught by Bryce across midfield. He's over 200 yards receiving today.
Well, he's not only 6'5", he can run. And you see him there, he beat the D-back Matt Goldsmith there and went up and made an incredible catch.
Up the sidelines, but just overthrew Miller out of the backfield. Price caught for 235 yards against Georgia Southern. That's the most by any freshman in FCS this season.
And Illinois State got a break there as this throw took Miller out of bounds. He ran a wheel route down that sideline, and he was wide open. If that throw would have been away from the boundary into the field, I think they would have had 6.
He's at 11 and 142 for the game, Price. I thought he was already at 160, but he will be shortly if this keeps up. More motion.
5-yard penalty, second down.
That time it was Andrew Peacock getting to jump early out there on an island.
Yeah, it looked like everyone went early. I think it might have been the center there snapping the ball a little late.
I had my yardages flipped. It was Walker that already has 160 yards in the game. Price is trying to catch it.
But as you said, Ryan, it's pretty nice when the 2 guys you highlight in the beginning of the game are going off having great games.
Well, it lets the fans at home know that we actually read some of this material coming into this game.
Some homework.
Watch some film. Those 2 have been unstoppable. Walker, a senior, Price, a freshman. Dump it out. Guess who? Right on cue. Sean Price continuing to rack up and push his record season total for any FCS freshman in the history of this division.
And what a nice job by Jamal Jackson there. He feels the pressure, he fades away, and he gets the ball to Price, who just runs an underneath route, underneath the zone, and makes the catch.
Third down. Big down for the Mountaineers. Bit of a low snap. Jackson picks it up, fires in, complete, and a first down. Malachi Jones.
A nice route by Malachi Jones there. And Jamal Jackson shows you his arm strength as he steps into it, throws a tight spiral. Good job by Jones coming back to that ball, making a catch with his hands, and getting a few yards after the catch. Big first down there.
That's his second catch. Mike Banks was in coverage. The first catch, he ran for 48 yards and a score. A little trickery. They get it back to Miller, but the defense played very base and very disciplined there. Shelby Harris came back and made Miller's life uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, when your head coach is the defensive coordinator, you're going to be a disciplined unit, and you're going to know your assignments, and you're going to be there. And it's tough to get trick plays by you, and they didn't that one.
So second and long for Appalachian State. Pass to the outside, looking for Price. Jackson got walloped on the play. I believe it was Colton Underwood came up and made a punishing hit.
It was. Colton Underwood can play defensive end, but they also put him at the nose guard position. That time, from the nose guard position, he is so fast off the line of scrimmage when that ball is snapped, and he got to Jackson just as he was throwing it, and he put a good hit on him.
12 catches for Price. That's who they were trying to throw to there. Already a career high for him. App just 4 out of 12 on third down. They've got a long way to go. They've got a screen play out. They've got guys blocking downfield. Miller gets it all the way close to the first down. It looks like he'll have it by a yard.
Yeah, he's going to have it. The way he was running at the end, I'm not so sure he knew exactly where that first down marker is, because you got to put your head down and make sure you get it. But luckily, as he gets knocked out of bounds, he steps out just over the marker.
Third and long doesn't ever seem long enough for this offense. Miller swarmed under. He'll lose a yard. Nate Palmer, number 4, in the make the stop. Brandon Prate also there. And those are the 2 gentlemen we just mentioned. Palmer number 4, Creighton 99. In the red zone, Appalachian State, 18 runs, 8 passes, and 10 field goals. He got it to Peacock, and he'll get it down at the 10-yard line. Alex Donnelly shoves it down at the end of that play. They need 4 yards for a first.
Yeah, and Peacock just runs an underneath route, underneath the zone. Good job. Picks up decent yardage there to set up a 3rd and 4.
App State trying to tie the game. A touchdown at an extra point would knot us up with 3 minutes, 40 seconds left in the contest, and a timeout. Illinois State calls it. Jerry Moore looks on as Coach Spack wants to give his defense a breather. It's not like you don't know going in who the primary receivers are, but between them, 21 catches and 319 yards receiving.
Yeah, the only difference is the touchdowns, and I tell you what, Sean Price would like to put one on the board right here.
In trouble, and a touchdown! Are you kidding me? That play was blown up. Drew Bailey's 4th touchdown pass catch of the season, the tight end. He's caught 3 touchdowns from 3 different players.
And you're going to see it here. It was a direct snap like a Wildcat, Andrew Peacock, and he floats it up. And Bailey does a great job coming back to that ball as it was hanging there to make the catch for the touchdown.
Peacock on the throw. It's the 2nd time he's hooked up with Drew Bailey this season. And he was in the air almost on his backside. And with the extra point, it's tied. Ladies and gentlemen, it was the ugliest tying touchdown with 3:31 in round 2 of the playoffs you'll ever see. But it doesn't matter.
That's right, it counts.
Because the game is tied at 31 on Andrew Peacock's second pass attempt of the season. They have both been touchdown passes, both caught by Drew Bailey. Put it down at the 25 for Illinois State. And now let us present to you said touchdown pass.
And you see Peacock 11, the wide receiver, takes the direct snap. He's under big pressure and just heaves it up. You see the ball. It's actually not a bad spiral. It just kind of floated there. We're going to take another look at it here. But a good job. This is a wide receiver, folks, getting pressured. Throws it up. And what a great job by Drew Bailey, 44, the tight end, to come back and make that catch for the score.
They always tell you to step into a throw. Peacock was in the air, falling backwards when he threw that. You know, it takes a lot of strength to do that. And a chance to perhaps win the game on the last possession for Illinois State. Caught by Walker.
Guess who?
Deuce Robinson on the stop. Walker makes his 10th catch of the game. Only the App State offensive linemen are sitting at this point, and they deserve it. Done in motion. Brown overthrows Walker. Appalachian State's 3 losses came this year when they were trailing at the half. They were trailing at the half in this ballgame.
But really, this defense has played great in this second half. Other than a few plays they have given up, Illinois State, they've been putting good pressure on Matt Brown. They got to him there, causing a high pass and a huge third down play here.
We should also point out Illinois State has not lost on the road in its last 7 football contests. Flags. Looks like motion or an early begin. We'll get the right tackle, Jermaine Barton. That's the 3rd time he's been called for a false start in the contest. And so on 3rd and long, it's now 3rd and longer.
Yeah. And it does, it changes the play call up. Obviously, what you would have ran 3rd and 3, significantly different with 3rd and 8. So they're going to huddle up here, come up with a different play.
They need the 35-yard line. And flags again. This is the largest stadium in FCS, and it can get loud.
80 offense. 5-yard penalty. And then down.
Well, they went from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 13, so they've made it considerably harder on themselves.
I don't believe they've been penalized in the second half until those 2 right there. Overthrows Walker, and the App State defense gets a critical stop.
Yeah, really nice job. Got some pressure on Brown, but they had max coverage downfield, so even when Brown got out of the pocket and he had to hurry, the play clock was running down. You see him step up, but as he does, you're going to see a lot of black down there, a lot of Appalachian State jerseys. Really nice coverage, and they should get decent field position here. 2:39 left, Ryan, to go down here and win this game.
Bobo Beathard stands at his own 40-yard line, ready to receive this kick, and a great camera shot there. And he'll take it back at his own 25. And App State will get the football at the 28-yard line. Is there any magic left? They've been behind this entire game until about a minute and a half ago. The Mountaineers have climbed the hill, gotten it tied, and have 2.5 minutes to win round 2. Illinois State, which has not lost in its last 7 road games, hasn't been to the playoffs in the last 4 years, can make a memory here as well. With a man draped all over him, Peacock makes the catch. And that will be about a 5-yard gain. Appalachian State has played a pair of overtime games in the playoffs, both in the 2000 season. Troy State and Montana were overtime games in the postseason. But there's no need to say the O word just yet.
Not yet.
Jackson has to eat it. He'll take a loss. So basically the 5 yards he gained on first down, he lost. Evan Frierson, number 3, got in there and brought him down, as well as Nate Palmer, number 4.
Yeah, and that's a coverage sack. Jackson had time there, just couldn't find anyone open and had to eat it, and took the sack there.
Mountaineers in no hurry to get this play off on 3rd down. 15 seconds still left on the play clock. Caught near the first down marker. They look like they're going to spot a first down for Peacock. Ben Erickson made the tackle.
Well, watch the route by Peacock. Again, he did it earlier in the game. Right on the marker. He knows where he has to go as he bends it back into the line, or into the field of play, and a nice throw by Jackson. And they are right on the marker. They're going to measure this. But I tell you what, Ryan, I think he's got it.
It looks from here that he does. And a great route, knowing where the sticks were for Peacock, who has made both catches on this drive. First down, Mountaineers. Still got a lot of ground to cover. 61 yards between themselves and perhaps a round 2 win.
Yeah, and you'll see him pick the pace up a little bit now. They weren't before because they didn't want to give the ball back to Illinois State with any time, but they'll pick it up now to try to get down into field goal range to win this game.
Clock winds after they get the chains reset. Jackson sacked by Colton Underwood, but he's going to have to come out of play because his helmet came off.
And that hurts. That's your best defensive rush lineman there. But boy, killer for Jamal Jackson. You just don't want to take a sack there.
Kick him back 3 yards, and the clock rolls under a minute in the 4th. Peacock banged into when he made the catch, but he hangs on to it. Erickson crashed into him at the 46-yard line. Timeout.
Timeout.
The App State's got all 3 timeouts. Good utilization there of that timeout. And nice catch by Peacock. Takes the big hit, but he makes the catch. He holds on.
There's Sam Martin, just kind of getting up, walk around. He's kicked a few balls in the net. He's thinking he may have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, well, the great thing with college football is the clock stops, of course, after every first down. App State has 2 timeouts, so it doesn't limit the plays they're going to call. They can utilize the whole field. They can still go down the middle and take some shots just to get this thing in range to bring the kicker out to try to win this game. Of course, they would love a touchdown to end the game and not put it on their kicker, but as long as they can get into position here to give themselves a shot, I think they'd be happy.
Third down conversions even up. 7 for 15, and App State has converted a bunch of third downs here in the second half. They've got a long run to go. They won't get there. They'll get near midfield. And we will update our bracket as the clock continues to wind. We're all tied up in the fourth. Sam Houston State. Well, there's only one. Well, there are a couple ways to score 5 points. Not many. Typically safety, field goal, but you could have a. There's all kinds of crazy stuff, but that's what I'm guessing. Safety, field goal, Sam Houston State over Cal Poly. Stony Brook, Montana State, Wagner, Eastern Washington. The late games. Jackson got tackled, and it looks like he's short. He did reach out for it. He is short by a link or two.
And we're going to see at the end of this play, he takes a good hit, does Jackson, and he goes down. It's a little shame. You see the legs on it. You see him reach. A lot of times when you reach, you know, those shoulders, sometimes, believe me, I've done it many times. You get a little banged up after a while, getting hit play after play.
33 ticks remaining.
And huge call here.
Yeah, what do you
for
do?
Coach Jerry Moore. I think he's going to go for it. He has enough faith in his offense to get this half yard. The only problem is if you don't get it, you know, you give it back to Illinois State with about 28 ticks left at midfield, and I guess he's not. He's going to punt this thing away and play for overtime. And you know, and the fact that Jackson was a little banged up on that last play might have played into the decision of Jerry Moore there.
Yeah, if you don't make it, they have a short field. You only need a field goal.
Yeah.
So I kind of agree with this choice. You're playing for overtime. Illinois State's not going to stop the clock. As long as you don't get the punt blocked, you're in good shape. Fair catch at the 18-yard line. 1 second left. Whose defense do you like in OT? You give these teams the ball at the 25.
Yeah.
Nobody's really stopped anybody down there except for the interception, but that wasn't in the red zone.
Yeah, and you know, in overtime, like you said, you get the ball at the 25, it shortens the field. Sometimes that limits your big playmakers on both sides. It'll also be interesting to see what happens in the OT.
5-2 is App State all time in overtime. And that's what we're going to play for. Kneel down, and we're going to toss a coin to figure out who's going to play on what end and who's going to get the ball first. 60 minutes couldn't quite contain this one. We are going to an extra period. 31-31 your score. Again, App State was behind this entire game. It wasn't until the last 5 minutes they got the game tied. And so if you're Eastern Washington or Wagner and you're watching out there on the West Coast, sorry, we don't know who the opponent is. Sam Houston State with that 5-0 lead over Cal Poly. They're going to face the winner of Stony Brook and Montana State out in Bozeman. Eastern Washington game on the red turf tonight on the West Coast out in Cheney, Washington. So if you win the toss, what do you want to do?
Well, you defer. I mean, 99.9%, it's probably 100% of the time. If you win the toss, you defer. You put your defense on the field first. This way, if you can stop the offense, you know exactly what you need to do when you get the ball on offense, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, to win it or send it into a second overtime.
How did App get back in this ball game? Well, we'd like to illustrate that for you with our magic video.
Well, really, this second half has been excellent. They started spreading the ball around from both sides of the field. And right there, Malachi Jones on the bubble screen was off to the races to get him sparking. And then the defense really woke up led by linebacker Jeremy Kimbrough. And there was Chisholm with the run up the middle for the big score. And here's a big play to their big playmaker, Sean Price, SoCon Freshman of the Year. And again, little trickeration there as Andrew Peacock, the wide receiver, throws the ball, falling away, being tackled, gets it to the big tight end for the score, and this game is tied up at 31.
The most unlikely game-tying fourth quarter touchdown pass by a wideout lined up in the Wildcat in the second round of the FCS playoffs I think you'll ever see. Am I going out on a limb by saying that?
No, and give Drew Bailey, the tight end, a lot of credit. That ball just kind of floated there as he came back to secure it and make the catch right at the goal line.
Illinois State 6-6 all-time in overtime. So we got the all-time stuff out of the way. None of that has any bearing on this game. They beat Eastern Illinois in 2 overtimes earlier this season, did Illinois State. The Appalachian State did not play an overtime game this year. They played a lot of close games. Eastern Illinois win was 54-51 in 2 overtimes. App State has not played in overtime since 2010 against Georgia Southern. Overtime last night in the MAC championship game. That was a pretty good finish.
And that was a huge game. I mean, Northern Illinois still has an outside shot of being that BCS buster. Kent State would have had a better chance of doing it if they could have won, but they didn't.
Well, here's what we do in overtime. We're going to coin toss it. The winner selects, do they want to go offense, defense, or give that choice to the other team. Each team 1 possession from the 25-yard line, and they'll give them 1 timeout. There's no clock. And if we get to a 3rd overtime from that point forward, the field goal kickers will have a seat. They can go ahead and dress out and head to the bus. You'd not have it any other way, would you?
No, I mean, really, 2 great teams. Both have played very well today. Fitting, and it's 31-31, and we're going to overtime.
It'll be 1st and 10 for someone on the 25-yard line. Both teams are afforded at least 1 series possession in overtime. Both teams have 1 timeout per overtime that do not carry, and your timeouts from regulation did not carry to overtime as well. If for some reason we get to a 3rd overtime, only a 2-point conversion scores points. A kick does not. Both coaches still have 1 challenge remaining on instant replay. Okay, Illinois State, the visiting team, will call the coin toss. The 2009 championship coin football is heads. The word NCAA is tails. What's your choice? Tails. The choice is tails. It's heads. Appalachian State has won the toss, and your choices are offense, defense, or what end of the field. So you want to play on this end.
App State wins the toss. They want to go on defense. You want to know what you have to get when you get the ball back. And a nice job by Matt Young and his officiating crew from the Ohio Valley Conference. Good explanation in overtime. They've run a very clean game today. Kudos to that crew as well. We're going to take it down to I think that's the west end zone. And App State's going to go on defense. So Matt Brown's going to get the ball first in his hands. And you saw the overtime records. Survive and advance. That's the mode you're in right now. There is no more football if you can't win this one. So at home, take a breath. Hopefully you've had a chance to get yourself a refreshment. And after 60 minutes of football, it's going to come down to a couple of 25-yard line spots, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see how the App State defense comes out here. They've been really aggressive the last few times on the field. I wouldn't expect anything less here.
Matt Brown's thrown for 297. Jamal Jackson has thrown for 352. Brown gonna go for it all, and they score a touchdown on the first play. O'Shaughnessy. 5 touchdown passes in the game for Matt Brown.
And we hadn't heard from O'Shaughnessy since the big catches in the second quarter. He's just going to run right down the middle of the field with a seam route, a post, and no one's there. There's no safety help, and the big tight end, probably the biggest touchdown of his life.
Extra point good. Well, one play, 25-yard touchdown pass. James O'Shaughnessy, he had 1 touchdown pass all season, and he's got 2 in the playoffs. And that sophomore has got a big career ahead of him.
We almost believe there had to be a mix-up, a miscommunication on that coverage, because he was wide open. He got behind all the App State defenders there running that post pattern, and he was wide open in the end zone. A little pitch and catch between Matt Brown and James O'Shaughnessy. And that's how you want to do overtime for Illinois State. Score a touchdown on the first play. Now all the pressure goes to the App State offense. They know what they have to do. At least they have to score a touchdown, convert the extra point to send this into a second overtime.
So App State now goes on offense. A touchdown is a must. He'll get it inside the 10. Price. And we'll have a 1st and goal with Ezra Thompson making the stop. I'm sorry, Matt Goldsmith. First and goal from the 8. You've got 4 downs to get it in there. Miller in the backfield with Jackson. Price is split wide to the right, top of the picture. 3 wideouts to the bottom. Handoff Miller. He had a seam, and he'll get it inside the 5 to the 4-yard line. Nice little cutback.
Yeah, nice run there. As you said, very good vision to cut that thing back. But boy, these 3 yards, the longest 3 yards in App State's history. We'll see if the Illinois State defense, that defensive front that's been so good all year, if they can step up here and get a stop. But as you said, 3 downs here to score a touchdown and send this thing into a second overtime.
Jackson surveys the defense, fires, caught, touchdown, Peacock.
And really great recognition there from Jamal Jackson. They sent a blitz after him from that side of the field. Peacock read it as well, turned, and it was a pitch and catch. You're going to see the blitz at the tail end. Peacock just over the goal line. Ben Erickson, the free safety, does not have enough time to come over to cover for the blitzing defensive back. And it's an easy touchdown for Appalachian State.
An extra point away from another overtime period. It's blocked! It's blocked! And Illinois State wins the ball game! That's unbelievable! A blocked extra point gives Illinois State a ticket to round 3. Have you ever seen a game end on a blocked extra point?
Unbelievable. I mean, there was pressure right up the middle. It looked like a jailbreak, and the kicker never had a chance. Wow.
Thanks for coming out.
Stunned crowd.
When we take a look at the penetration right up the middle, and I believe it was 93 Shelby Harris, defensive tackle out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with great penetration, and it never had a shot.
Shows you why he was first team all defense in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. And believe it or not, that is how the season ends for Appalachian State, stunned at home again in the tournament. And so that sets up our bracket. Illinois State will advance to take on the winner of the Wagner Eastern Washington game tonight out in Cheney, Washington. And Brock Spack, his defense and his mustache will be alive for another week. And Coach is on the sidelines with Angela Mallett.
Coach, you got to talk about your special teams and being able to come up with that block.
Well, it was a bad. We've had some bad luck in special teams throughout the year, and that's a huge play. Huge play.
What does this win today do to the perception of this program moving forward?
Well, you know, it puts us on a national stage and play a great team today. And, you know, we had to make plays everywhere in every phase of the game. And it took us right to the end and found a way to win.
Let's talk about your team keeping their composure when this whole game App State was behind and then came back. What does that say about this team?
They're mentally tough, you know, and I'm really proud of them because this is a tough environment to play in. It's the toughest environment we've been in a long time, so it's very proud of them.
Coach, thank you for your time. Ryan?
Wow. Hashtag wow.
Yeah. Totally impressed with Illinois State to come into a tough place like this. They are now 6-0 this season alone on the road.
That's unbelievable. A blocked extra point in overtime ends the first game for App State and Illinois State in the playoffs round 2. That's a final. Illinois State beats App State in overtime 38-37. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to Watch ESPN or download the Watch ESPN app. I'm Ryan Rose for Reedy Angolia, Angela Mallett. This has been a presentation of ESPN.